Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Oh, hopefully that's not too loud. Let me turn the audio down. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's doing well. Oh man, what are you guys working on? I know what I've been working on. A lot of a lot of crazy stuff this morning. But yeah, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone's having a good Saturday. It's today, the 12th, getting closer and closer to Christmas. And man, it's time is just flying by. 2021 is almost here. I think a lot of people are ready for it. Why isn't my light changing? I guess it just doesn't want to change. That's a little bit better. Not so dark in here. So man, how is everyone? Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's well. Let's just start from the top. Let's see who is first here. Oh, Mafney. Hey, how's it going? Mafney was first. Totally was first in the stream. But yeah, fair warning. I rebuilt my machine this morning, and who knows what will and won't work. Right before the stream, I realized that I didn't have one of my plugins even installed for OBS, and so it was it was kind of crazy. I think it's working now. I think everything's good. Let me know on the audio too, if it's too loud, too quiet, too what, because man, last time I messed with it, I realized I totally, I don't know, messed up some of my settings. But man, how's it going? Nora, how you doing? Redo Strike, hello, how's it going? That looks like a newer name. Mikey Man 77, that looks like a newer name too. How are you doing today? Nora, how's your Saturday going? My Saturday's going pretty good. I mean, it's kind of your typical Saturday for me, which is get up, fix a bunch of stuff, release a video, a bunch of social stuff. And yeah. But on top of all that, I was mentioning earlier that I rebuilt my machine. I've been having this weird issue with I think it's Adobe Creative Suite. It's between Windows and Adobe. I'll let them fight it out. But I had this weird thing. Every time I would Alt-Tab out of Adobe Premiere, it would freeze when I came back to it. So it was like, editing a video, Alt-Tab to talk to someone in Discord, come back and wait for 10 seconds for it to unfreeze, and cross my fingers that it doesn't crash. It never crashed, it was just kept freezing. And so it was that, and so I had to get to a point where I'm like, I cannot Alt-Tab out of Adobe Premiere, I just need to get this video done, and then I'll rebuild my machine. And then so last night at 1 o'clock, I kicked it off, and this morning when I got up, I was just like, boom, go, install everything. And I know it sounds like, oh man, really? It takes that long to rebuild your PC? But when I rebuild mine, I have to rebuild for 10 different roles. Hey, whoa, that's loud too. Hey, Mysterious Cheese, thank you so much for the sub. Tier 1, got the lights going. Man, it's a good day. It is a good day when OBS isn't freezing, I have audio, and those lights are flashing. That means my code's working. And not only is it working, it's working on my IoT VLAN, which is even better because I don't need that broad link stuff on my main VLAN. Anyways, thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. But what I was saying, when I rebuild my machine, I have to rebuild it for 5-6 roles. Arguably, yeah, those are working too. Oh yeah, it's oh man, it is on today like Donkey Kong. It's all working. But yeah, when I rebuild my machine, I have to rebuild my machine as if I'm a developer. So that's all developer tools, WSL, get all that working, SSH keys, kube control, get all that working. And that's one whole role. Then there's my content creation role, which is, okay, all the Adobe suite, all my templates, all my add-ons, all my shares, get those set up and get that working. Then there's my streaming role, which is OBS, plugins, settings, configuration, Stream Deck, and I'll keep GoXLR on its own, but GoXLR then to work with OBS. Then there's GoXLR, which is a whole nother configuration itself, which is audio mapping, audio volumes, all of the settings. And so don't get me wrong, I have settings, all of those settings are backed up for everything, but there's some things you can't back up, or I'm not backing up or aren't backed up easily. For instance, a couple OBS plugins, and that wasn't installed when I started streaming. Anyways, long story short, I'm sure there's a few more roles, and I'll figure it all out tomorrow. Oh, one more screen recording. That's not working. I'll figure that out tomorrow or something. But anyways, So busy morning. How's your morning going? What are you guys working on? Hopefully not just rebuilding machines. While it is fun, it's kind of tedious. Don't get me wrong. I love rebuilding my machine. It's sometimes I just don't like the time it takes. I used to do it every couple months. I think this was my longest streak ever on rebuilding my machine. I think I haven't done it in like 9 months, and that is like unheard of for me. I guess it goes to speak on how well Windows usually runs. But anyways, boring stuff. My problems. Hopefully I'm not boring you. But anyways, Brizlop, hello, how's it going? Pitchfork Hades, hey, how's it going? Good to see you again. Mysterious Cheese 7, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you too. And again, thank you for the sub. And just getting to your comment. Ilude, hey, how's it going, man? I don't want to be late. All the fun stuff happens before the stream starts. Yeah, it's usually me scrambling, making sure everything's working. But man, my machine is running great so far. I don't want to jinx it, but man, I'm so glad I rebuilt it because like everything's perfect. You know how it is when you rebuild your machine and you're just like, yeah, like everything's so fresh. Everything's fresh. There's not a shortcut out of place. Nothing. No cruft. There's like 4 files in my downloads folder. That's how fresh it is. But yeah, Takano, hey man, how's it going? Good to see you, dude. How are you doing? Horribly Fat Kid, Lancash server for me. Nice. So you got some LAN party going on, or at least a family or friends that are all grabbing game downloads from Steam or wherever. Yeah, tell me more about that. I've always been super interested in it, but I'm the only one that really plays those games in my home. So like it would be like, yeah, I just cached it for myself for later. But let me know how many people you got. If you're gonna have a LAN party, how many people you have, and like, what do you think about Lancash? Lincoln Shadow, hello, how's it going? Good to see you. Redo Strike, gonna pick up some hardware tomorrow. Yeah, good day for you too. 2 Super Micro and a NetApp Fast 2040. That's awesome. Okay, what's are you getting 2 Super Micro servers? Nice. I know how that goes. I don't know about the NetApp Fast 2040. I'm assuming it's a disk shelf, but hey. Oh, Moriva? I can't. The notification didn't pop up in my other list. It looks like Moriva. It didn't pop up anywhere, but in there. But hey, thanks for the sub. Really appreciate it. I think that was Moriva. It didn't appear anywhere except for on screen, not in chat or in my event list. So it was a ghost sub, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Takano, haven't been active lately. Dad's in the hospital. Oh man. Oh, dude, that sucks. So this whole Christmas light show stuff is at a complete stop along with other projects. Hey, I totally agree. I won't razz you about Christmas lights. So sorry about your dad. Hopefully he gets better. And you guys, yeah, he has a swift recovery and gets back to normal as soon as possible. So dude, I'm sorry about that. Sorry to hear about that. That sucks, man. Stinks. But yeah, hope he gets better. Hope he has a swift recovery and is back to normal soon. Sorry for the letdown. No, not at all, man. Not at all. I razz you about your Christmas lights. It's totally fine. Like, dude, life is more important than, I don't know, setting up Christmas lights and all that stuff. So I've been razzing you for like a couple months about getting them going, but dude, your dad's way more important than that. But yeah, hope he gets better. Lincoln Shadow, just getting my sleep and reading in order this weekend. Yeah, my sleep gets way out of whack on the weekends because I'm like, yeah, I don't have to do anything tomorrow, even though I have tons to do. I just, I don't have my day job to do on Saturday or Sunday. So I'm like, yeah, I'll stay up till 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, whatever. And that throws me all out of whack. Hopefully you get some more sleep and get caught up and get some, just some more order in your weekend, like you stated. Horribly Fat Kid. Nice, man. I just got my hands on a Lenovo ThinkCentre TD340 for free and it was fully upgraded. Nice. Hey, Mikey man, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Man, Prime sub, thank you so much. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. Horribly Fat Kid, I just got my hands on a Lenovo ThinkCentre TD340 for free and it was fully upgraded. That's awesome. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's the tower. But yeah. That's awesome, and especially for free. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, Abysmal Nihilud, yeah, for sure. Sorry to hear about that, about Techno. TD5150, 5150, redo strike. What type of super micro? 1 or 2U? Yeah, my questions. I think both are 1U. Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't know. Loving my 1U servers, for sure. Nihilud, sounds fine to me. Ramhi, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. How are you? Audio's okay. All right. I noticed the last stream when I reviewed my stream, it was kind of lower than normal. When I'm watching my audio levels, they hopefully it sounds like the streams were 3 streams ago, because that's when my audio was, I mean, that's the same audio I've had for this whole entire time until, I don't know, I decided to play around. Rami, good to catch a stream. Hey, yeah, super glad you're here. Welcome. How's it going? What are you working on? What can I help with, if anything? Ticano, yeah, for sure. Just going to be taking a break for a while and see how he does. Yeah, hope he gets better, man. Abysmal, I finally got my LAN cache server set up and ordered to help with my bandwidth limit. Nice, man. I need to know more about LAN cache. Like, I totally get it. You know, it's a caching proxy, maybe transparent, that caches your files. I'm just curious, like, what games are you downloading? What's getting cached there that you need more than once? Obviously, if you're having a LAN party or you have a family or friends over and playing games, yeah, for sure. I'm always curious about that, because it sounds like such a cool project. I don't have a use for it yet, and I'm begging for one. So if you have a use case for me, I'm all for it. Abysmal, I finally got my LAN cache server. Yep, I just said that. I'm just reading them off. Dean, hello from Calgary. Happy Saturday. Dean from Calgary. Hey, I've been to Calgary 3 times. I love Calgary. I love it so much. And I love Calgary because from there I drive. So I've flown into Calgary a few times. And from there I've driven to Banff. And then from there to Lake Louise. And that is like my ultimate favorite trip ever. And I've done it 3 times. And then go hiking in the Canadian Rockies. And then go to Lake Louise and just hike all around there. I love it so much. It's my favorite place on earth is Banff. Really, it's Lake Louise. That's I love Banff, but I like Lake Louise even more, just because it's, a little more remote, and the hiking trails, the tea houses up in the mountains. It's so awesome. So I've done that 3 times. The last time is the only time though that I've actually hiked to the tea house, and I actually hiked to both tea houses in a day. Anyways, welcome from Calgary. I love that place. And mainly because that's where I go into before I drive out to the Canadian Rockies. And I love it. But yeah, hey, greetings from the US all the way out to Calgary. Good to see you. Mikey, man, related to COVID. Not sure what you're asking. I don't know. I don't have it, fortunately. I know people who do, but fortunately I don't. I don't have enough context there. Lincoln Shadow, was it fixed with reinstallation? Oh, yes. Well, jury's still out on that. I mean, I launched Adobe Premiere. I didn't try to re-render my video. Yeah, I should actually check my work. Good call, Lincoln Shadow. I didn't actually, I launched Adobe Premiere. It runs again. I know that. But I didn't have enough time to just like sit there and Alt-Tab out. I should. Maybe I'll go and re-render my latest video that I released this morning today and see if it does it again. Because if it still does it, like, that was kind of pointless. Anyways, it cleaned up a ton of cruft anyways. And if it's not that, I don't know. I keep thinking, like, is it a Windows 10 H20? Is it a Windows 10 H20 update? Or is it, Adobe CS? I don't know. It's one of them. I'm thinking more Adobe than Windows. Windows has been super stable for a long time for me. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, Banana still works. Oh yeah, that's how you know things are going well. So if the lights are working, Banana's working, and yeah. Speaking of lights, oh, there they go. Nice. Hey, E the Big D. Hey, thanks for the sub. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mysterious Cheese. Oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong account. Okay. Hey, thank you. Do you have another Twitch account? Oh, you have 2. Why do you have 2? Mikey Man Disregard. No route. Woo, the lights are back. Yeah, they are. Full force. So long story short, no, I'll make it kind of medium. I mean, I'm pretty vocal about this as I am with other issues for other products. But on UDM Pro, their MDNS is just like half-baked, quarter-baked. I don't know. It's not fully baked. Yeah, lights are working. And so MDNS mostly works. And so MDNS is, I don't fully understand that either. It's one of those things that I'm kind of like, yeah, it's magic to me. But I think it's a way for it to broadcast request across different VLANs or subnets, and then get a response back to the caller if you allow it. And so MDNS, I think, allows that broadcast to happen, and then devices should respond. Anyways, it doesn't work the greatest on UDM Pro, and they have a semi-okay implementation of it from what I read. But for me, there's a few things that don't work. And some of that has to do with, I don't know. I don't want to point fingers, but they say, yeah. So it's a big battle between them and Google for Google devices and them and everyone else for other devices. So it doesn't fully work for me. And so what I ended up doing was spinning up one of my services on the IoT VLAN that's totally locked down, that can relay those messages back to me safely. So rather than all of the devices on the IoT VLAN coming back to me, I spun up a service over there and said, hey, I'll tell you to broadcast, you collect all those devices and then send it back to me on my secure VLAN. And I think that's actually a little bit better implementation than just MDNS and just saying, hey, anyone who can respond should respond to me. I like this better. So anyways, a lot of work, but a lot of work for those lights. Yeah, but they're working for now. Let's see here. Mysterious cheese, normally Treadstone. I know Treadstone for sure. Takano 10.2 thousand channel points. Whoa, man. You got to burn some. You got to burn some today for sure. I might have to raise the lights. We'll see. Genzo 86, currently working on a garden tractor project. Nice. But got to get in to watch this. Cut my finger in the process. Oh no, that's not good. But I got a Band-Aid pics of kittens, and if my 3-year-old was awake, she would say it's okay now because of the kittens. Kittens make everything better, right? Well, glad you made it. That sounds awesome. Man, you guys are fighting for those lights. Or either that or no, Takano's just burning them. You don't have to burn them. Oh man, please bot, stay up. Stay up. Oh man. My Philips Hue right now is probably on fire because of the code I wrote. And now I have to go out and ping like 11 light bulbs and say fade in and fade out, change this color and change this scene. But you totally burned them out. There you go, man. Man, yes, bot stayed up. Bot is up. Oh yeah, my code. I'm telling you, it's mediocre code, but it kind of does okay when it actually works. Actually, if it's up, it's pretty good. If it's not up, it's a different story. But yeah, Jens, hey, sorry you cut yourself. Welcome. Yeah, I agree that kittens make everything better. Mikey Man 77. Man, my hair is getting long. It's almost time to cut my hair again. Well, it's been time to cut my hair. I just haven't done it. I think I'm gonna clean shave it all. I'm gonna not hair off, trim up the hair, cut all this off so people stop saying Johnny Depp on all my YouTube videos. We'll see if that'll stop it. Hey, T Grave, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Mikey Man, have you looked at MicroKates? I have not. And every time I log into Ubuntu, it's just staring me in the face. Because every time you log into Ubuntu, it's like, hey, we have MicroKates. It's like, okay, well, thanks, but I'm not going to use that. And so I think it's probably a fine product. It's probably great. I just, I'm a fan of, so I use, hosted Kubernetes. I've used hosted Kubernetes in AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, GKE, Google Kubernetes engine. So I use them all hosted. And then I've done a bunch of self-hosted Kubernetes. And, and my latest is this self-hosted K3S distribution of Kubernetes. And so it's, I don't know what MicroKates gets me that K3S doesn't. And that's not to say I could probably turn that around and say the same thing about K3S. But K3S was the one that I saw was pretty popular and gaining some steam, and it can run on ARM. I'm sure this is all true about MicroK too. And so, I only have a limited capacity for Kubernetes distributions. And so, will I look at it in the future? For sure. Jury's still out on who's gonna, I don't know if there's gonna be a clear winner. But there are a lot of people battling to be the Kubernetes distribution, especially the self-hosted or bare metal Kubernetes distribution. I think MicroK is one of those too, and that's been around for a while. It's been around for a while. Ubuntu's been totally pushing that. Like every time you log into Ubuntu or spin up a new Ubuntu server, it's in the options when you install Ubuntu. So yeah, jury's still out on what that means. I should do my research though, and see how it differs from K3S. I like K3S. It's super, super simple. I can wrap my head around it. And I'm sure MicroK is the same way. Because if they're Kubernetes distributions, at the end of the day, it's going to be 99% Kubernetes and 1% of, how they differ. And that 1% might make all the difference. But, right now I'm okay with the 1% different that K3S gives me. And plus their HA with the database backend is kind of nice, so I don't have to have 3 nodes. Maybe that's a poor decision, but it's kind of nice only having 2 nodes and get HA K3S. Of course you need a database, but I'm running one anyways in my infrastructure, so it's just like cool. What, new database? Sure. But yeah, great question. I should do some more research. Let me grab a drink real quick. I'm just barking. The silver. Hold on, let me cough. This is what happens every Saturday morning. You guys know. I don't say, I say very few words, and then I get on here and it's just like I feel like a DJ just yelling. So hopefully I'm not blowing your ears out. The silver. Hey, Tim, how are you? Congrats on your anniversary. Hey, thank you. Yeah. It was. Oh, I forgot to say, I apologize for, Tuesday and even Thursday for not being here. Tuesday was, my wife and I's anniversary. I had a great time. A little bit different this year, like everyone else's experiences that they've had this year, but great nonetheless. And so, thank you. Appreciate that. Pitchfork Hades, why do you rebuild so often? Oh, in general, why did I used to? So I haven't. Why do I in general? It's just I get bored, or so this is before content creation, when I was, when I could wrap my head around the things I need to do, easily, and I could, gauge all that and say, this is going to take me 3 or 4 hours to rebuild. Most of the time it's just random problems or random slowness or something I feel like, I don't know, you name it. But some problem that's not easily solved. And so, back in the day, even a year or 2 ago, it was just like every 3-4 months, it would just be like, okay, after Windows does 15 upgrades and has 15, 20, 2202 updates and cumulative updates for 2202 and has 10 of them, I'm just like, man, there is so much cruft and baggage going on, and I have a Windows.old that's 20 gigs big. Every now and then I used to be just like, well, instead of doing this massive upgrade, I'll just do a wipe and rebuild. My documents are redirected anyways. Most of my config files that I need are backed up. And so, it's mostly just taking the time to run through installers and configure things after that. Should use Chocolatey more, but some things aren't easily automated still on Windows. And so that's, that kind of boils it down. It usually stems from a problem though. So, but so far, running great. And like I said, this last run I've had, this last stint of not rebuilding or reformatting, has been 9 months. And this has to be a world record for me. Cause like I said, I used to do it all the time. Whenever I felt like something wasn't right, or I went crazy and tried to tweak something that didn't work, or I went crazy in the registry, which I haven't had to do lately, and then I'm just like, whatever. Sorry. Anyways, but yeah, I used to do it more often than now. The silver, running great so far, crashes 2 minutes later. Yeah, tell me about it. That could happen. We'll see. I feel like it's running okay though. I'm super happy with this rebuild so far. I do wish that Microsoft had H20 though down for download. Like, cause I think we talked about this in Discord yesterday. I was trying to figure out if a factory reset meant reset back to the latest Windows. You know, like when you reformat, when you reset an iPad or anything Apple. You know, as soon as you do that, they're gonna go back to the latest version of the OS that's installed currently. I think we were trying to figure out if Windows would also do that, or if they go back to the original one that was installed. And I was going to do it, but I didn't have time. And so I kind of chickened out because I didn't have time. I didn't have the 45 minutes to go through and verify and do that. And then have to create the boot disk afterwards. But anyways, but yeah, it's... I don't know. We'll see. It's running good so far. I'm not going to jinx it. Senpai Carter, hey Tim and Chad, got my Proxmox server up and running, and now I have Docker and Rancher working great on it now. That is so awesome, man. That is awesome because just think of like, talk about standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, you go from PC hardware, server hardware, to then installing Proxmox open source hypervisor, to then installing Docker, to then installing Rancher and getting Kubernetes. And now it's like all of a sudden you go from this piece of hardware, you know, that's highly capable, that could do lots of things, but then into, you know, being able to spin up containers and yeah, so awesome. It's good to hear, Senpai Carter. Abysmal, LAN cache I use because I have 3 PCs here and we all game a lot on the same games. I'm jealous. I'm jealous you got 3 gamers in your house. It works amazing. It also caches Windows updates. That's another thing I was going to ask. That's awesome. That is really awesome. I need to look into it more, but can you like wildcard or set an allow list of sites to cache? Because that would be sweet. Because then I would say, yep, Apple, you know, anything Apple, anything Adobe, anything Microsoft, anything Steam, anything Epic, and you'd have like 99% of your bandwidth. But especially like which would be great. You pay the cost once, and then the second person gets to benefit from that. So for me here, it's like, well, I'd pay that cost, and no one would benefit from it, just me. But yeah, that's really awesome. I should look into it more. Senpai Carter, I need to get my SSD array up for LAN caching. But I bet it's so nice. I bet it's nice too. I need more users in my house. How can I get more users in here so I can start building out more infrastructure? Hey, Danny Gog. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Let me know how it's pronounced. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. How are you? Horribly fat kid, 4 at the most. Didn't do anything fancy, just followed the instructions. Lurking for games, super nice. On lurking for games, super nice. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I should set it up. I have a ton of storage. Ton of storage. I have a ton of bandwidth too, but that's not the point. It's because it's awesome. It's cool, right? Jens, oh yeah, Shuckle Samurai gifted you a sub. Yeah, thank you. The silver seems like the activity log is broken. It showed sub X undefined instead of sub X1. Yeah, I don't see it. So I use a couple different activity feeds and I use the Stream Elements one. I didn't see that one at all come up there, so I apologize. No route. I went to the local mall for the first time since the vid. I like it. Came into the world, picked up a new 1 terabyte NVMe SSD because I had a gift card and couldn't use it online. I walked past the Apple M1 MacBooks and tried them out by opening all installed apps at once. Holy heck, that thing is fast. I kind of want to replace my MacBook Pro right now. Yeah, no route. So I have a MacBook Pro too that I use for development. I want to see the Pro version of this for sure, because I heard M1 is super fast, and so I'm super curious. But I got burned on my last Apple MacBook purchase because what was it, last year? They launched 2 MacBook Pros in 1 year. And so I bought the spring version thinking, well, it's going to be another 3 years until they release it. Nope. 6 months later, they released the fall version that has the escape key on the touch bar. And I was like, oh. Anyways, I'm super excited for it, for sure. Not looking to paying for it, but looking forward to using it for sure. The EMPTN popping in, ran across a YouTube question. Do you run a domain LDAP controller in your home lab setup? Yeah, great question. I think this comes up a lot. Not specifically for me, but how do you set one up? I don't. I have 3-4 Windows machines on my network, but they're not domain joined. And I don't have a huge need for LDAP. I could probably spin up that environment, but man, that's a lot of resources. If you go Microsoft directory services or Active Directory, but I haven't had a need for it. Maybe someday, but I don't. Do you? Are you thinking about doing it? Love to know why people would do that other than testing. I mean, that's how I got into home labbing in the beginning, is because I wanted a domain controller, I wanted DNS, I wanted DHCP, all from Microsoft, and I wanted to figure out how to do it. And so I've done that before. And then I joined all the machines at home to the domain, and that was painful. It's painful for the other people in the house. So, but I was making it, production at home with Active Directory and domain joined all the machines. It was it was fun for me, not for everyone else. But anyways, especially playing with group policies on people's machines at home. It was my family, like my siblings and stuff, but kind of painful. But let me know. Are you thinking about doing it? Hey, DJ Emu. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Takano, yeah, so far not doing well. He's minimum going to be there for 5 days. Oh man, according to the nurses, we are all hoping it ends well. I certainly hope so too, man. Certainly hope so too. So sorry to hear that. Senpai Carter, LAN cache runs in a Docker container, and it's really nice for multiple desktops running Windows and downloading the same game multiple times. Yeah, I've seen the Docker container. I've been so tempted to do it. I just need I need more people in my house, or I need to, I need to have a LAN party or something. But maybe I could cache more things and get more use out of it. Because most of the time it's, my wife and I have different tasks, and so she's doing stuff and I'm doing stuff. On our computers that they usually don't cross over. I mean, she uses a lot of Adobe stuff too, but she doesn't use any dev tools or anything like that, or play any of the games I do. So, and then she runs Windows on one thing and Mac on the other. But maybe I can cache some Apple updates or something like that. Deeding, great city, nice trip. Yeah, Calgary for sure. Treadstone, man, I would love to visit Canada once the pandemic ends. I totally agree. Deeding. Lake Louise skiing, nice. Yeah, I never done it, but I've hiked around there a couple times. I love that place so much. I want to go back again for sure. And we were gonna go somewhere out west this fall, but everyone had plans this fall. It probably didn't happen. The One Cube. Hey Tim, greetings from Greece. Hey, how's it going? Greetings from the US. Love your videos, thank you. Aspiring to build a Kubernetes cluster soon so I can have some fun experimenting with stuff from your videos. Hey, awesome. Let me know how it goes. And if you have problems, let me know what they are for sure. But hey, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that. E the Big D, are you Techno, Tim? I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, maybe, but not a comma, a space. Didine, I can install Rancher over an existing Docker install that have containers already deployed. I think I know your answer. Can I install Rancher? Oh, I see what you mean. Depends. Not really. So you won't be able to manage them easily in Rancher if you go that way. So Rancher has a 1.0 and they have a 2.0. 1.0 let you manage, like they had their own container orchestration system. I think it allowed you to manage Docker too, and it allowed you to manage Kubernetes. In Rancher 2, it's only Kubernetes. So if you're doing Rancher 2, no, you won't be able to see them or manage them just because it's going to spin up Kubernetes or manage Kubernetes for you, your cluster. So you can't do that in Rancher 2. Rancher 1, I don't remember. It's been so long since I used Rancher 1. And even when I did, I used their cattle. I don't know why, because it was just there and they suggested it, their orchestration. But if you're looking for something to just manage a Docker host, like Portainer does that great. If you already have containers on a machine, you don't want Kubernetes, install Portainer, tell it to bind to the Docker socket, and boom, you can manage them all. So yeah. Or it can also manage Kubernetes too. The Big D, thanks for the multiple vids. Help me a ton in my home lab. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Hope I'm not leading you down a weird and crazy path. Because most of the stuff is stuff I just like either figured out or I'm interested in. And so, yeah, hopefully it helps you. I hope it does. And if it doesn't, call me out on it. Let me know. Treadstone, I have 2 Twitch accounts because I use my parents' Prime sub every month. Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So my Prime sub, their Prime sub. Yeah. I think, Amazon lets you share one Prime sub across family accounts. And so one person in that family account gets that Prime sub. So I know that well too. Let me see, Chicano, I haven't gotten MDNS to work across VLANs at all. All right, so it's not just Unify. You said burn them. Yeah, so I have MDNS working. It's just one piece of MDNS doesn't work. So I guess I should say that Unify's MDNS is pretty good. There are a few things though that don't work properly, like I can manage Chromecast devices on my IoT VLAN, no problem. But I can't create an audio group for those. Anyways, I found there's tons of workarounds. One includes installing Docker containers on your Unify UDM Pro, which arguably I didn't know. I think that's how they manage a lot of their stuff, which is super cool to think about. But if you install that, then you get MDNS fully working, but then some other things not working so well. So I was just like, I'm done with this. I'll do it the Unify way because I don't really feel like hacking at my Unify Pro right now. Although I did hack it and figure it out and got it working, I'd just rather not do that. I don't want to, go down this path to where my device is not working, insecure, or unsupportable. And so I was just like, okay, yep, works. Not going to do that anymore. I know it works. I know if I'm in a pinch, I know how to fix it. So. Thanks for the, gifted sub. Thank you. Contributing your gifted sub. Hey, thank you so much. It's so weird why, I don't know why I'm not seeing those events here, somewhere else. I apologize. So, hey, Dex Vinyl, looks like Dex Vinyl and FD Ethan, sorry. Thanks for the gifted sub. I don't know why they're not appearing in my stream elements. I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. That is not a Windows rebuild fault. That's a stream elements fault. But thank you, which is super weird because my notifications are stream elements too, but they're not appearing here. But hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, so many points. All right. Yeah. Takano, only 626 channel points. I bet you're back to 1,000 now. I bet you earn points so fast, for sure. Christian, Josias, anyone having problems port forwarding FTP with a Cisco ASA firewall? Yeah, good question. I don't have an ASA firewall. I know very little about FTP. I know it has a couple ports. Make sure you do multiple ports. I think it's 21 and 22, or it might be 20 and 22. I don't remember. There's 2 ports. One's for the file transfer and one's for the actual communication for directory structure, I think, to say, hey, what folders are available. So, and you probably know that if you're going down this path, but that's all I can say is just check your ports. Make sure you have both ports and not just one. I think that's how it works. Had quite a bit of trouble finding anything with the ASA, yeah. No route, I'm at 1K. What color would you like? Yeah, all right. AppSumo, it's always DNS. Yes, it is, for sure. See here, Weston. Hi, I have in plans of making a home lab. Nice. I have not used gaming PC. Nice. And I'm gonna try to learn before I buy a proper hardware. Awesome. That's always my number one recommendation. Like if you have spare hardware, is to use an old PC you have. So absolutely do it. Do it before you know what you need or what you want, because you'll learn a ton. And at the end of the day, you're going to be doing a lot of the same things on there. So awesome. Glad to hear it, Weston. Mafney, you know the way that takes you 12 to 18 years? Well, what? Danny Yang. Oh, good. You can just say Goog. All right. Goog. I'll say Goog. That works for me. How are you? I'm fantastic. I'm great. How are you doing today? Cavalcante. How much storage do you have now? How much storage do I have now? My FreeNAS disk pool is like 24 terabytes, I want to say. 20. I think available on that pool that I created, it's like 20-ish terabytes. Hey, Peta, Rue, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. But I have, something like, I think I have 32 total, but only like 20 something usable, if that. It sounds like a ton, but I burn through storage really fast because, when I record anything, every weekend, basically I'm adding 150 gigs to my NAS. 150. That's kind of par for the course for creating my videos. Maybe in the future I'm going to find a way to compress the raw stuff. Arguably, I don't even need some of the raw stuff because it's all bad anyways. But hey, yeah. So I need to figure it out. But I think I'm going to run a job soon to compress stuff. Hey, Dr. Control, Dr. CTL, resub, tier 1, 2 months, 2 months strength. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Abysmal. It caches like 90% of all game services. Definitely does. Steam, Epic, Blizzard, etc. And you can also set it up to cache your own domain, such as Adobe. Yeah, I like it. I like where this is going. I like where it's going because those files will never change, especially updates. They're cumulative, or they'll just roll out another one. But yeah, that's super awesome. I need more users in my house. How do I make that happen? Because I would love to. I would love to. GDMax5. Hey, how's it going? Your channel is awesome. Oh, dope. Awesome. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. For sure. Dr. Control, CTL, caps lock equals escape key on a MacBook Pro. Crappy keyboard. Yeah. So my MacBook Pro doesn't have the hardware escape. It has a touch bar. And so my escape key is a touch bar. And, I hit escape a lot. That's how I exit out of modal windows that pop up. It's just, in my second nature, instead of like going to click the button when it pops up, I just hit escape. So I press escape a lot. And so when Apple was like, oh, we're only doing the touch bar, no escape key, I was like, I'm never doing that. Well, it got to a point where I was like, I need a new MacBook for work. Like I got to do it. And yeah, you saw what happened. Then they released the one that had the touch bar with no escape. And then 6 months later, they went and added an escape key. Only an escape key too. So it's like, I guess developers must have freaked out on him. But I am still vocal about that. And I thought it was a safe bet because, Apple's track record for releasing MacBook Pro before that year was like 3 years, maybe even longer. So when they released the 2019 version 2 in a year, I was like, are you kidding me? Come on. I should have drugged my feet a little bit more. But, Apple doesn't really respond to a lot of feedback or anything. They just say they've improved stuff and they never apologize. They're never like, yeah, we didn't mean to do that. They're more like, yeah, now with more escape key, it's fantastic. It's magic. This escape key is magical. And that's why we added it. And so anyways, I should have drugged my feet, but I was like, I would have bet $1 million, that Apple would not release 2 MacBooks in 1 year, but they did it. And they're doing a lot of things people aren't expecting. So now I just bet on whatever I don't think is going to happen with Apple, which is good. It means they're innovating. They just should have innovated on the escape key a little bit earlier. Goog, I know that this is specific, but does anyone have any recommendations for 1U servers that can fit full-size GPUs? That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because I went through that same thing when trying to build my 1U servers. And most full gaming GPUs or full-size GPUs take up 2 PCI Express slots. And that height right there is taller than 1U. So what I ended up doing was finding, a P2200, so an NVIDIA Quadro that has, not the best GPU, but a really good NVENC encoder, which is what I needed, which worked out pretty good. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I don't know if one exists. I mean, maybe someone figured out a way to do it. But if you look at, 2 PCI Express slots, that height is the height of a one-use server, pretty much, give or take, I don't know, a few centimeters. And so I have no idea how you're going to do it, unless there are ways to mod it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've seen people take off the fan, take off the heat shield or spreader, the heat sink, do water cooling or whatever they want to do, or blow, have passive cooling on it, and then cut the second piece of the PCI Express bracket on the GPU off, and then do something. Hopefully you don't have one that has, like mine has, GPU, HDMI and everything above and below. And so I've seen people do it. I don't know if there's an easy, clean way to do it. I'd love to know, because I went through that about 2 months ago. How Weston? I have a few years experience, but since I work from home, I need more infrastructure on local network. Yeah, don't we all? Connecting with remote office is not an option anymore. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. But yeah, I totally agree. I kind of went crazy on the infrastructure too lately. But I've scaled out a little bit vertically, but more horizontally. So yeah. Hey, Mafney, thanks for the sub. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have no idea why I'm not gonna press that button. I'll refresh my Stream Elements Launchpad down here and see if it shows up. I don't know. I'm not getting any notifications on my other things, so I apologize. But Mapney, thank you for contributing. So you gifted a sub, it looks like. Apologize that it's hard for me to see now. Stream Elements must be having some issues, but really appreciate it. Dex Vinyl, good to catch you live. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. DJ Emu, I have 2 Pi holes using Unbound, but can't open Twitch with them and be able to be here. I am forced to use another DNS server. Oh man. Well, I appreciate the ingenuity and the effort to get here. That kind of stinks that you can't get to Twitch with them, because I run it. I mean, I run Pi-hole. I'm running 2 now, and I get to Twitch. Otherwise, I wouldn't be streaming live. And I can get to the Twitch website. So yeah, I wonder if you just have, some of the block lists real quick. Spicy chicken. Thanks for the follow. Wait. Spicy chicken ramen. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Give me some. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Now it just depends on your block list. I would just toggle them off one by one until it works again. And then once you find it, just add it to your allow list. So just find the block that's happening on Twitch, or go through your logs, query your logs, look for anything with Twitch and see what's getting blocked, and just, add it to your allow list. That's usually what I do. And I've been pretty, I was overly aggressive. I found, hundreds and hundreds of block lists on GitHub, and I'm like, yeah, add them all. Why not? Why block them all? But then I kind of realized that, how painful do I want it to be at home, for things. And so, I have 5 or 6 that I use. They're all on Git. There's a GitHub repo that has a collection of probably 100. And then on the GitHub repo, they have some that are basically, they give them a green check mark if you can use this safely, and most of the time things are going to work probably. And so I've only picked and chosen ones with a green check mark. I'll find the repo. I'll post it in Discord later. But it's it's unfortunate you can't get to Twitch, because you should be able to, right? But you can figure this out on your own too. Just go into your logs, go to Twitch. You'll see one that appears red, and then add that to your allow list. Hunting Hagrid. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. The EMP TN. I was thinking about doing lab with a Precision 5820 with Zenshal with VPN access to share some things with a few coworkers. Nice. Zenshal seems like it's making a comeback. I looked into Zenshal a while ago, years ago, and now I'm hearing about it more and more. So it seems like it's getting popular again. Might have to take a look at it again and see what it can do for me. But that's awesome. You have a Precision 5820? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Dex Vinyl, Project Proxmox server, running a GitLab server and Rails deployment server, nice. But having a nightmare with both, not so nice. That's awesome. I haven't run a self-hosted GitLab server. I've done self-hosted GitLab runners, which is kind of nice. You're like, hey, they only give you 2,000 minutes of CI time, which is pretty decent. But if you're pushing up a lot of code and you got a lot of CI running, it's, you'll burn through that real quick. And depending on how long your CI jobs are, you'll eat into that too. So I ad hocs, I have runners in Kubernetes here at home that if I get close to my 2,000 minutes, I just turn them on. Like, I should do it all the time on my own, but I'm just like, well, you know how that goes. I'll use their minutes first. Anyways, yeah, that sounds tough. I haven't done any Rails development, so I don't know what that's like to get that working. But I mean, the development piece probably isn't the hard piece to get that building, because it's going to be getting GitLab server to run at home. So my only suggestion is, if you are spinning your own self-hosted GitLab, when you do set up your GitLab runners, make sure that they're Docker runners, because then you can specify your Docker images in your build pipelines, in your jobs, and then you don't have to worry about locally installed stuff. But you probably know all that. That's my only tip, is that when you set up your runners, you use the Docker runner and not like SSH or whatever they call it, because local environments are not fun, especially in build servers. Build servers for sure, not fun. So use a Docker container for that GitLab runner. And they have like 5 or 6 runner types. Just pick that one. GDMax, greetings from Israel. Hey, greetings from the US. How's it going? Leo has cold. It's cold. Code. Let me get a drink. I'm yelling a lot. Does Rancher give benefits versus Barcades? Or is it just convenience? So I don't know what Barcades is, but I can talk about the convenience piece of Rancher. It's 100% convenience. 100% convenience and a way to manage multiple clusters. And if you think about like a lot of cloud providers now, Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, name your other cloud provider, that provide a hosted Kubernetes, they give you a UI for monitoring, for metrics, for execing into pods, for logging. Like, they give you all of that. Well, you pay for it, but they provide that for you in part of your GKE or whatever it is, your hosted Kubernetes subscription. And so if you're thinking about doing something outside of one of those clouds, or in multiple clouds, or in your own personal cloud, there isn't a great way to manage those things. I know there's a Kubernetes dashboard, but that thing, like, I love it and I wish it would get developed more. But it's mainly meant to manage one cluster. Maybe it can manage more. I don't know. I've seen the development of that trail off, and even Google, I think, stopped including it. Anyways, real quick, Time Paulo, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So anyways, so Rancher, 100% convenience, but it also gives you, a dashboard and all the tools that you get in a lot of the cloud providers that's not from a cloud provider. And so you can have some of those capabilities that you get in a cloud provider, but at home. And also, well, at home, or let's just say not in a hosted cloud provider. So it can be anywhere. So if you're doing, hybrid cloud at work, you're doing self-hosted at home, you can manage those clusters all from Rancher, from one interface. And you don't, it has an API as well too, but it's using standard Kubernetes kube control commands. And so, a lot of convenience, but a lot of capability too. And so for some, companies who are dabbling in hybrid cloud, or they have a self-hosted, Kubernetes instance, but are thinking about provisioning stuff in some other cloud and don't want to get, vendor locked into the other cloud's tools, it's a good tool for that. But for me, it's 100% convenience, 100% convenience, and I think for a lot of people too. And because there isn't a great alternative for what those cloud providers give you as far as dashboards and things like that to manage your Kubernetes cluster for outside of a cloud. FD Ethan, good morning, Tim. Do you have a private container repository? Hey, Leos has code. Leo has code. First I said Leo has cold. Now I said Leos has code. Hey, Leo has cold. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Do I have a private container registry? Yeah, absolutely I do. And so, define private. So I'm a huge fan of GitLab. I use GitLab. I also use GitHub. And I have private repos in both GitHub and GitLab. And I have private registries within GitHub and GitLab. More so in GitLab because they did it first. They allowed private repos and private registries, package registries and Docker container registries. Name your registry for private repos. And so I do, but I don't host. So I don't self-host my own container registry. And if I think I was going to go down that route, I would self-host my whole entire CI pipeline. Because with GitLab, when I run my CI and my code runs and it builds, and I build my Docker containers, I push them right up to that repo's container registry. So in GitLab, every repo comes with container registry, and I think you get 10 gigs per repo, something gigantic that I hope I never hit. And if I do, I'll pay. I have no problem paying. Because like I've used that service for years and I can't believe I haven't had to pay a dime yet. But anyways, that's besides the fact. It's an awesome service. So I don't have a self-hosted private registry. I have private repos in GitLab that give me a private registry per repo. And so I don't know, I have 20, 30 repos in GitLab alone. And those are all, come with a container registry. And so the reason why it's nice is because during my CI, I get CI variables and secrets that I can use during CI to push those containers up. And they all come as part of CI. So I get CI secrets that are like, container registry token. Yeah, I mean, you can set these up yourself or somewhere else, but it's already pre-configured. So if you run a Docker tag and push to your registry, it's like, yep, I know what you mean. Like, I know what repo you're in. You got tokens, otherwise you wouldn't be running CI. And so I'm just going to push it up to your registry here. So that's how I do it. If I ever decided to move my registry somewhere else, I might, but I would probably move my code somewhere else first, and then, look for the whole package. Maybe GitLab self-hosted, or maybe start separating it out and go with, Git self-hosted along with some Docker registry local or container registry local, and then drone for CI local. And so, that stuff is really awesome. I just don't have the time to do all that and manage all of that right now. So anyways, that's a really long story. I use GitLab because it makes it super easy and it's free. But there are private registries. You could spin up container registries within Kubernetes or in your own infrastructure. It doesn't even have to be Kubernetes. It doesn't even have to be containerized to store your Docker container. So FD Ethan, hopes that helps. Dr. Dex Vinyl, recommendations on a self-hosted DDS server that doesn't require a subscription. When you say DDS, do you mean DNS? Dynamic DNS? Because that's and maybe that's what I'm thinking. So I'll go with that, and then correct me if I'm wrong. If you just are looking for dynamic DNS, and maybe this isn't what you're talking about, I mean, you have free options like DuckDNS, totally free. But if you own a domain and you want to do dynamic DNS, there's tons of places that give you this stuff for free. Dynamic DNS, all right. So I use Cloudflare. And so Cloudflare is not my registrar. I register with Google. So I register my domains in Google, but I switched my name server in Google to point to Cloudflare. And what that gives me is the ability to change anything about DNS I want. And so there's Docker containers you can run that are out there. There's tons of them. I think Onzu. So Onzu is one that I use. One, because it's awesome. And two, because they built the guacamole one. He or they or the person, Onzu or the repo. So Onzu also has one that's works with Cloudflare. And so I use that too. I was like, oh, he makes the guacamole one? That one's awesome. All right, I'm signing up for your Docker container for Cloudflare too. Docker image. So anyways, long story short, Owns you, yeah. Hopefully not. Yeah, that's why I might not pin the latest, because who knows what happens in the next one. Another reason why you probably shouldn't pin the latest. Someone gets a hold of that Docker container and you pull latest, not knowing, or using Watchtower to pull latest and export all your secrets somewhere. All your environment variables. Oof, that'd be the day. I mean, it happened to npm once. Anyway, someone slipped in a node module that exported all your variables in your environment somewhere else. That can happen to Docker too. That can happen to a lot of things. That's why maybe you don't want to pin the latest on Docker, because it's not repeatable, because latest today isn't the same as latest tomorrow, or latest next week, or latest last year. Anyways, I'll stop going down that path. Could play that game all day. But anyways, Onzu, Oznu, it's O-Z-N-U. I need to pronounce it right because I keep saying Onzu, but it's Oznu, I think. He has one. It's for Cloudflare. You put in some variables and that's it. And so again, the way mine works, I have a registrar, but my registrar, I tell them that Cloudflare owns my DNS. Cloudflare has an API that allows me to do dynamic DNS, among other things. They give you free SSL, proxying, obfuscation of your IP, bot detection, DDoS protection. They give you tons of stuff, all behind if you just use them for DNS. And so that's what I do. And so you don't have to pay a dime. You just have to move your name server over to Cloudflare. Once you do that, which is totally free, you could say they're doing whatever with your data, but you don't have to pay anything. I don't know what they're doing with my data. They claim to be a privacy company. And so if you do that, you have dynamic DNS. So then, like in one of your Kubernetes workloads or one of your pods, or even in plain old Docker, you spin up this container. All it's going to do is say, hey, what is my IP address? You do have to use, I forget. I don't know. You just have to generate a token. Super easy. It'll check its IP address. If it changes, it'll update DNS. Within 10 seconds, it'll be replicated across the world. Now, I'm exaggerating, but it's probably less than 10 seconds. And then however long all of the other DNS providers cache that is up to them. But then I use DigWeb to go and check the worldwide DNS servers, and it's fairly fast. So anyways, it's a long story about how I've set mine up, and that's how I do it. You don't need to switch your domains to Cloudflare. You just need to tell your registrar that, hey, you don't own my DNS, Cloudflare does now. So anyways, hopefully that helps. I got to get caught up on follows. T Groutman, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. How are you? That name sounds familiar, but hey, thanks for the follow, appreciate it, welcome. Mr. Evil Villain, hey, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it, welcome. Aiden, Aiden Bennett, live. Hey, thanks for the follow, appreciate it, welcome. How are you today? But yeah, so Dex Vinyl, hopefully that helps. Abysmal. Here we go. Suggestions, Abysmal, and then you can use DuckDNS. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Horribly Fat Kid. This community is the bee's knees. Oh, yeah. Hopefully it is. I agree that I say this probably not enough, that I'm so fortunate that so many people are interested in the same things that I am, because when I started this journey, that's all I was trying to do, is just find people who are interested in what I'm interested in. I say this a lot, probably sound like a broken record, but I still, to this day, don't know anyone that I've met in person that are interested in these things. So it's so great to have you. So great to have you. Takano, gonna head out. Me join back later. Hey man, thanks. Hope your father recovers swiftly, man. Let me know if I can help in any way, man. Take care. No route. Multiple ports is only required if you're using passive FTP. You don't need 21 in the passive port range. You're using active. I don't think you need to open anything else than port 21. However, I would recommend rsync or SFTP. Yeah, good to know. So I wasn't talking about passive FTP. I'm familiar with that. I still thought you needed port 20 for FTP. Like, I understand that like 2021 does the actual file transfer, and I'm probably totally wrong. But I just remember back in the day, I always had to allow port 20, also, so that people could change directories. because that was like the communication port to say change directory, change directory. And I could be wrong, but I remember doing that. I'm like, why won't just plain old FTP work? And then when people were trying to change directories inside of my FTP server, they couldn't. But I'm probably misremembering that. But yeah, for sure. And I totally agree. You should not use FTP, use SFTP. I totally agree. 100%. Let's see here. Lots of sudos and run as admin. Yeah. Hunting Hagrid. Hi, Tim. I've been watching your YouTube video channel for a long time. Learned a lot from you. I've already followed you. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully I'm teaching okay things. I think I am. I don't know. These are a lot of things that I do and I'm interested in. They seem to stick well with people, and I'm glad you're enjoying them for sure. Yeah. Let me know if I have any gaps or any feedback. AppSumo. Cleaned, installed Windows, set up stream, and played some games last night. The PC fails to boot today. Oh, I worried. When I reformatted last night and came to it this morning. I mean, I've done it. I've probably done it 200 times in my life, at least on something I own. I've done it even more times with machines that other people own when I did a lot of imaging stuff. But I was kind of worried, but I was like, worst case scenario, like I have extra hard drives. Like the only thing that would stop this stream from happening is power to my home. I get a couple minutes in with my UPS. My GPU totally blowing up. I get switched to my, CPU, and it wouldn't be as enjoyable. I'd have to lower the resolution, or just like, or just like my house burning down, which I hope that doesn't happen. But anyways, I feel your pain. I was worried a little bit, and then I was just like, you know what? I have plenty of spare hardware. Worst case scenario, I'll stream this on my MacBook, and you'll hear the fan the whole entire time. But at least it would happen. So I appreciate you being here. Which Aegis? YT, YouTube too, I think. What do I think of Pulseway? I don't, should I know about Pulseway? I don't know enough about Pulseway. Tell me more. Dex Vinyl, graphics card, maybe possible. If you water cool, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. So this is going back to the 1U conversation, for sure. Penguin Airlines, hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Yeah, I still don't know anyone using Zenshell in production. Good, yeah. But it might be worth spinning up for someone who's just getting started with a home lab. Yeah, it's something that I've always stumbled upon when looking for like open source alternatives to other things, and I'd never used it myself. But I hear it coming up a lot more than I used to, and maybe that's just because like the community's growing and. Like, before it was just me researching all this stuff, and now I have other people making suggestions. Like before it was just like me researching, finding alternatives, and now I have so many people suggesting alternatives. I love it so much. But yeah, I haven't heard of anyone. I've never heard of Zenshell outside of doing my own research and finding it myself. But lately now I hear people just suggesting it or saying it's an alternative to something else. Genzo 86. Has anyone tried SLI on a VM in Proxmox with GPU pass-through? I was hoping to be able to set up Windows 10 for gaming and streaming, to go over to Linux full-time on my workstation. Time will show, I guess, but I'm still waiting for my parts and the new servers. Wow, SLI. That if you can pull that one out, that's pretty awesome. I don't know the answer to that one. That one's got to be tough. I mean, if I step back and think about it, I mean, passing through one GPU is hard. Passing through two, I mean, maybe it's easy. I would say go for it and try it. The hardest part is getting one. Two should be nothing more than plugging in the second one and then mapping it to that VM. Of course, I could be wrong. There could be something I'm not thinking about, but just think of if you had a virtual machine and you were going to pass through, a video card and then pass through a USB device. It's just mapping two hardware devices to that virtual machine. I'm oversimplifying, of course, but I can't think of anything in SLI that would be like, if it saw two cards, I can't see why it wouldn't work, but could be totally wrong. I'd love to know the answer to that, though. I would for sure, Genzo. Dex Vinyl. The issue I'm having is getting GitLab to run at all. Okay, I've tried Proxmox CT image, which just fails. Okay, not good. No reason particularly obvious, and I tried building on Debian from a repo, which gives about 500 taking too long error. Okay, but on reading logs, it appears Sidekick isn't running, but all I get is unintelligible errors on debugging that. Let me grab a drink. Yeah, I don't know. I've never spun up, I've never had enough guts to spin up a self-hosted GitLab instance. I should sometime, just so I can say I've been through the pain, because I hear, not that it's painful, it's just a lot. If you think of everything that GitLab is doing, it's not only just, source code repo, it's, a UI, it's CI, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of endpoints, a lot of moving parts. So yeah, I wish I could help you there. But I'm also hoping it would have been easier too. So it's a little disheartening seeing it's not as easy. But I know going into that, it's like, if you just think about all the endpoints they have, all the stuff they have going on, and then having certificates and everything working for that, who knows if they're going to accept self-signed certificates for some of those things. Oh man, that sounds like a lot. Unless you have a wildcard. But yeah, sounds awesome. Let me know how it goes. Leo as code. Instead of Kate's dashboard, I use Lens. Okay, nice. Yes, it's an app, but it does a lot more than a dashboard. Just in case you didn't know. No, I haven't heard anything about Lens. I need to look into this because that sounds awesome. It's an app though. So I assume it's an app, like a desktop app. So I'm assuming then also it probably runs on Electron, because Electron's an easy way to build cross-platform apps for desktop. And maybe it's a mobile app too, but I'll have to look into it. So I'm assuming then it just uses kube control to communicate with your environment, and then gives you a UI for that, which is pretty awesome. Sounds awesome. I'll look into it. Thank you so much. Daphne, at some point, I will try to convert my web page in containers, currently runs in a LAMP stack on a Pi 3B, and place it on a Pi 4. Is that recommended, or should I just set like normal, everything on one install? You know what, that's kind of up to you. So if you're doing LAMP stack, your web page is probably, WordPress or Ghost or something like that, or maybe you're just using the LAMP stack because it gets you, PHP really easy, and maybe it is a static web page. That's kind of up to you. It just depends, how you want to manage things, and so having a LAMP stack that, is only, running one service, or maybe you put multiple services on it, is totally fine if that's how you want to manage it. If you ever, have the need to grow a little bit more, or you want to, kind of explore into containerization, I think starting out with maybe plain old Docker or Kubernetes is kind of a big leap, going from just a VM to LAMP stack, but totally possible. And so the point at which I switched over to containers is when I wanted to kind of host more than one thing on a virtual machine without worrying about breaking dependencies, and at the same time being able to, have multiple things running on that machine. Exactly that, breaking dependencies, right? Especially with the LAMP stack, if you have MySQL running on there too, and then you have to spin up something else on the same machine that requires a different version of MySQL or some dependency, you upgrade that breaks, and then now both things are broken, or one thing's work and one thing doesn't. And so, when I wanted to get away from that. And so that's one way to do it. Tarek 817, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. And so, it's up to you. How much complexity do you want to manage? And for you and for home, and if you're okay with managing a lot more complexity and gaining some capabilities, I'd say go for it. Hey, Tuxit. Hey, thanks for the resub. Tier 1, 4 months. Thank you. Hello to you too, Tuxit. How you been? Good to see you. And so, yeah, that's my only advice, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to support this service. And so what's the easiest way for you to support it? But if you ever want to scale, and I don't mean like scale out full blown, go crazy on Kubernetes, but if you ever want to scale to that, more than that one service, and have that be containerized, segmented or contained, and repeatable, and only manage, config for backups and stuff like that, Docker is a good way to go, and Kubernetes is as well. But then you're going to have to run into, the only thing then you'll run into is, it's a little more networking than an IP address, right? Because you have to expose those services. But that's easy. Remapping, port 80 on Docker containers, if they expose it, super easy, right? You just say, oh, the inside's 80, the outside's 30,000. And then you have another service that wants port 80. You say, okay, inside's 80, outside's 30,001, with Docker networking. So, those are some of the benefits you'll get. But you'll have to wrap your head around some of the concepts first, and then you'll have to know how to, then you have to figure out how to support it. But for me, it's been a good journey for me. And I think, being a software developer, it kind of forced me down that path and that thinking, because that's the way that enterprises were going. And that's the way that we were going to, have to get our code onto servers. It's no longer shipping, it was no longer shipping files. It was basically putting your files in a Docker container and then telling that server or whatever, Kubernetes, to pull the latest server, pull your tag. And so that's, that's been driving a lot of this change too. At least what I've seen. Vermium Seifeld, yo, how's it going? Good to see you. Dex, by the way, Ruby on Rails is fun. You should try it. I just use a self-hosted server that's harder than it should be for me to do. Yeah, I should sometime. No, I had a lot of friends that were really into Ruby. And then when we worked together, they made the switch from Ruby on Rails to Node stuff. And they would always tell me how awesome it was. But yeah, I just haven't had the experience. Would love to explore sometime. Vermium Seifeld, do you know that you can self-host Bitbucket and GitLab and probably even GitHub? Wow, I didn't know. I mean, I knew GitLab. Bitbucket is Atlassian's product. Maybe I knew that, or maybe I didn't. Probably not. If I'm questioning it, I didn't know it because I didn't know it was open source. GitHub, I don't know. I mean, that's not, the GitHub itself isn't open source, is it? And it's interesting. That's cool. I just discovered GitHub's dark mode toggle this morning. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. Like I was so impressed by it. I tweeted it out. I was like, this is it. Yeah, I don't know. I spend a lot of time in GitHub. I don't know if this is a recent ad for them, but they added the GitHub dark mode, and I love it. It's really good. It's almost, I think it's better than Rancher's dark mode, which I think is good too. It's so easy on the eyes. But anyways, good to know. Penguin Airlines, nice to self-host Registry so you can not be throttled by Docker Hub. Yeah, good. Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, good call there. For sure, Docker Hub now throttling. I think Amazon is stepping up now and going to start hosting their own container registry, container registry without limits. We'll see how long that lasts. But with them, they're like, everything's hosted on them. For them, it's just incremental add and a drop in the bucket, just to allow people to pull billions of, containers all day long because they're so gigantic. But anyways, good to know for sure. Christian Josias, what do you think the best FTP server is for Windows? Oh, man, that's a good question. I've been a fan of FileZilla for a long time. Doesn't mean it's right. It's just what I'm comfortable with. It's open source too. That's my only answer. I've dabbled in so many FTP servers over the years, and I've even configured Windows FTP because Windows will come with the server. But at the end of the day, when I used to do FTP stuff on top of Windows, so that was a stretch to go back that far. It was FileZilla server. I don't know if it's any good anymore. I don't even know if it's open source anymore. But that's kind of my go-to for the client for sure on Windows. And on Mac it's something else, CyberDuck or something like that. But the server, again, I haven't run an FTP server in a while. But last I recall, FileZilla was kind of okay. Maybe it's not anymore. So don't take that as a recommendation. Take that as you should do some research because it's going way back for me. FileZilla, all right. The easy answer, all right. I'm sorry, I just saw that. All right, Penguin Airlines. All right, man. I rambled on too long about that. I should have scrolled down 3 lines. T. Groutman. I'm looking for a scalable WebSocket host. Oh man. All the WebSocket does is echo message on a topic. Okay, so PubSub. Each user streams 50K a second with a real-time RGB data. Ooh. We tried AWS, Lambda sockets, and used up to 1 million. I don't know if that's a capital M, like 1,000. But anyways, free tier with a single user. We are going to try Google Run next. I'm going to try to adapt this project, something which shows how to connect, support. I assume that's 1 million concurrent WebSockets with a Go server. That is insane. That is a ton of sockets. And that is a ton of throughput. Each user, so you have 1 million sockets open. And then on top of that, each one of those million are 50K a second. Yeah, that's crazy. Not crazy, but that's awesome. So that's some scale. So now you've outgrown already, what AWS can do and what Google might do. But yeah, Go seems to be a good answer. I mean, Go is super. I mean, Golang stuff in general. People use it because it's super high performing. Gives you type safety. It's a higher language than obviously C or C++, but gives you a lot of the features of newer languages. So yeah, go for it. I don't even know where to begin with that, but it sounds awesome. Man, I would hate to see what your load testing looks like. Like fire up all the engines and just open 2 million sockets and let's see what we can do. It sounds super interesting for sure, T. Groutman. Vermium Seifel, I can't thank you enough. Techno Tim, what's going on? Hey, Random Cake. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I can't thank you enough about your K3S. Binge me into 200% HA. I have set up Gluster FS. Hey, a lot of people in Discord or Discord server asking about Gluster. You should share your experiences. And K3S to get storage containers at HA. Nice. The problem, quote unquote, is that I have not time to go into K3S and Gluster FS volumes, so I use host path pointed to the mounted Gluster S volumes on all the hosts. Okay. And I skipped the external DB and multiple masters and load balancer for masters instead of K3S installed server into a 4 gig 2-core small form factor chassis PC. I hope it'll work well. I think this will replace that PC. There's more. At place, I won't move it around and instead have all the nodes in different rooms and not getting everything down because the power outage in one room. Man, that sounds awesome. And that's what I'm gonna, that's my plan for K3S too, is to use my Kubernetes cluster, have my nodes split up, nodes split up, but of those nodes, servers and agents split up so that any one of my servers can go down and it'll still run. So I have some work to do on the load balancer. That's always a tricky one to figure out because usually you get that from someone externally. But anyways, that's really awesome. I know very little about Gluster. I keep hearing about it. Sounds awesome. You should share your experiences in our Discord because people ask about Gluster almost daily now. So yeah, but you might have been talking about it there too. But yeah, awesome. Congratulations on your Kubernetes cluster for sure. Null route. I'm using PowerDNS for my web hosting business. PowerDNS for my web hosting business. It also has a great API. Together, PowerDNS-admin, a web GUI and front end, is a great alternative to Cloudflare DNS. Yeah, good to know. That is good to know. So, great API, PowerDNS. All right, is PowerDNS free though? And I need to do some more research for sure. PowerDNS. I don't know. I have other things that I like about Cloudflare too, and that's why my stuff's there. But ultimately, it's they were one of the first that I saw that had an API that allowed me to do dynamic DNS. And on top of that, they were giving me then, SSL proxies and DDoS protection. I was like, okay, those are 3 things that are kind of hard to come by. But yeah, I'll have to check it out for sure. T. Groutman, I'm back. I may have followed before I sent a test account. Christian Josias, that's also what I use, but how do I get it port forwarded? This is probably going back to FTP, I think. It depends on your router. yeah, it depends on your router. Look at your router, look at your port forwarding. Make sure you forward that port or ports to your client. Make sure that your client has a static IP address. So in DHCP, you either create a lease for it, a static lease for it, or you just assign it statically on the machine, and then you port forward it. And then be careful. Anything from the outside world now is coming to that machine. The only last thing you'll have to figure out is if you are using Windows, I think you said you were earlier, you'll have to open up a firewall port, or you can allow that whole entire application access, give anyone access to those ports for that application. And yeah, I think there's one more thing. In the firewall, if you do configure it, you're gonna have to say something like allow public to, right? So addresses that aren't on your same subnet, allow them to access that service too. So I don't know. I think that's what you're talking about. Penguin Airlines, you only need one port for FTP, SFTP. Might be permissions with when CDing. No, I don't. It wasn't I don't know. I'll look. What is port 20 though for? That's my question. Because I thought port 20 was for some kind of communication. I don't know. This is like, I haven't configured an FTP server in like 10 years. But I'll have to look at it. All right, I'm gonna look right now. Because this is port 20. Port 20 FTP. Why does FTP have 2 port numbers? All right, I always said I wasn't gonna go and do this during stream time because I get confused. I get, yeah, so 21 is for the data. 20 is for the data, 21 is for control. Whatever that means. But yeah, that's why I don't know. Maybe doesn't apply anymore. T. Groutman, I have like 10 UPSs, but they are older than 10 years. Whoa, geez. I have to replace all batteries. Wow, nice. 1500 VA power backup cyber power. Nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I went with too. I used to buy used battery and replace my smaller UPSs, and those work fine, but I'm never really like sure like how good they are. But at the same time, I feel bad like throwing away like that actual housing for it. Cause yeah, that seems wasteful. But yeah, good to know. Lincoln Shadow, knock on wood, yeah. AppSumo seems to be an NVIDIA issue. Ran into DDU to clean, and it's booting. Nice. Penguin Airlines, it's honestly just all the common domain utilities wrapped up in distribution with a decent GUI. Oh, Zenshell, nice, yeah, thank you. You can do all of the same stuff on a Linux image. You may even be able to, and that may even be worth your time to get features like HA. Awesome. Yeah, I always forget what Zenshell is, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. And I think it's pronounced Zenshell. Maybe I'm not even pronouncing it right. Birmingham and Seifeld, Proxmox VE and 2 GPUs is working exactly like one. I have 3 in mine and I can use them all in different VMs, but 1 graphic card per VM. Good to know. Wait, it's working exactly like one. Do you mean that SLI is working? Oh man. Genzo, I will give an update about SLI when I give it a try. All right, we're all curious. We're all curious. We're all thinking that you're actually putting the 2 cards in right now. We're all awaiting your answer. I'm kidding. Christian Josias, know what fails when I try to connect? I have port forwarded 20990 on my Cisco ASA. Also Windows port forward and Windows Firewall. It works fine on the local network. Oh yeah. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. It could, yeah. I mean, you said you've done everything that would make it work, but there has to be something else. Because, you know, if it's not the port forwarding, it's the firewall then on the machine. And like I said, like if on the Windows Firewall, if you're using, I don't know, you know how Windows has the public and private firewall? You'll have to expose it publicly too, or allow on public networks too, because obviously it's something other than the subnet that it's on. Otherwise it will deny it. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't done, like I said, I haven't done FTP stuff in a long time. But those are the only things I can think of. Senpai Carter, have a good weekend. Yeah, thank you. You too. Firmware and Seifeld. By the way, when I use multiple graphic cards, use them via PCI bridge, not via SLI, but via the motherboard. Okay. Dex Vinyl, to be honest, all I want GitLab for is a code repo backup to GitHub. Oh yeah. And I think so I hear Penguin Airlines talk about Git a lot, and I think that's why he was using Git was to do just that, to be able to sync, I think, his code from a public repo or privately from a cloud hosted or a SaaS, code repo to a private one. So maybe Git I know Penguin Airlines has used it. Maybe that's a good solution because, with GitLab self-hosted comes all the things that GitLab does, you name it, CI, CD, UI, source code. So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but Penguin Airlines has recommended it to me quite a bit to where I need to spin it up and check it out. It looks like last time I looked to it, looked kind of like GitHub. So I was like, this is pretty awesome. Like it looked good. Dex Vinyl. I'm new to Proxmox, but there is a way to copy paste into the console from a browser outside of Proxmox. I can do it via SSH, but copy and paste would be useful in the GUI and the VM. I totally agree. I 100% agree. It would be great, especially when you're entering Windows installer keys and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know of a way. It would be great. I totally agree because it's painful to not be able to copy and paste into that window. Toxic, hello. Hey, how's it going? We do strike. You can use Spice for that. Okay. Oh man, I haven't heard Spice in a while too. Oh, you're talking about the drivers and stuff like that. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, instead of using just the web. Oh yeah, because you can access Spice through the Proxmox UI too. I haven't used Spice. I haven't. Birmingham Seifel, I'm good. How are you? It's Saturday, which means I can look at your streams. Yeah, it's Saturday, which means I can stream. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Toxic, I'm afraid about ZFS on cheap hardware. No ECC, eats lots of RAM, possible data corruption of the pool. So MDAM plus LUKS, LVM, stay the best deal instead of ZFS for a simple NAS storage? Yeah, that's a good question. I struggled with this a lot too in the beginning is when I was going to, build my NAS, and I was like, it comes with some requirements, and if you don't meet those requirements, then it comes with, a lot of side effects that you may not want. Like you mentioned, if you don't run ACC, you run the possibility of corrupting the pool, and if you don't have a lot of RAM, ZFS in general wants to use a lot of RAM, and if you don't have a lot, then you might pay a hit on performance. So I've to be honest, I've kind of looked into this too, not to replace my TrueNAS server, but to have another backup locally. It's like, how can I do this on the cheap? Don't need ZFS. I just need another local copy of storage in my network. And so the answer is, I haven't found it yet. And so, I don't know the answer to that. Simple NAS, I haven't found a great alternative. There are things like Open Media Vault. There are other NASs, I don't know how I do the plural of that, NASs out there that can or don't have a ZFS requirement. But with that comes, other things too. Sigma NAS, yeah, that's one too. Thank you. Open Media Vault, I think you have the option to do JBOD. There's also Rockstore, which I see mentioned a lot, that uses, I think it's Btrfs, that is a Linux alternative to ZFS. Rockstore, Open Media Vault, NAS for free is another one. Yeah, good call, Birmingham Seifel. So there are a lot of options out there. You just kind of have to explore and see which one would be best for you. To be honest, I'm being fully transparent. I'm looking into something too, similarly, to run on commodity hardware, possibly JBOD, because I just want another local copy of my data, just in case my NAS goes down. Obviously, it's backed up to the cloud. I guess to have a real 3-2-1 backup strategy, And so I don't have 100% complete copy of my data here that I have on my NAS. Obviously I do in the cloud, not here. So I'm kind of looking in the same thing. So if you find something, yeah, let me know. Cause I want to do this on cheap commodity hardware. I don't want to throw, whatever, 32, 64 gigs of RAM in there and, and basically build another full-blown TrueNAS server. I'd build a low-end one, but at the same time, I just needed another copy of my data because it's not my primary one, right? So yeah, good question. P.S. I love you. Oh, thanks. I love you too. Dex Vinyl. Hey, Janky Steenbeek. That's a lot. That's a lot of words. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Can you do GitHub? Might have to try that. Should I be looking for? What should I be looking for? Oh, you guys are figuring that out. FileZilla is good or WinSCP? Yeah, good call. WinSCP, secure copy. Yeah, I totally agree. Let's see here. Ramhi, what is going on? Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. Penguin Airlines. Amazon already had ECS, but yeah, I'm curious what they do and try to get market share with more centralized design. Yeah, good call. Penguin Airlines, or is it ECR? Whatever their container registry acronym is. Yeah, that's good to know. I heard that, well, I thought they were lifting. I don't know if they had limits before, but I thought they announced that they were going to do something like you mentioned, more central, and basically, a month after, Docker releases the bad news, they release the good news. So now they're the heroes. But I totally agree on the acronyms. They're all over the place. We should tell all cloud providers, look, you guys need to settle on acronyms, because I don't want to think about EKS, which is, I think, Amazon Kubernetes service or something, AKS, but then Google's is GKE, Google Cloud Engine, and then Azure's, I don't even think they take an A, because they're like, oh man, Amazon already got the A, so Azure's is totally something different. I don't know, they need to figure it out. Be like, you guys need to standardize your acronyms, because at the end of the day, you're all providing the same thing, just in a different platform. I totally agree. I don't remember any of their acronyms anymore. Reduce Strike. It's a way to connect to them. You can find more on the Proxmox wiki. Oh, you're talking about Spice. Nice. Vermium SciFel, you should definitely try Raspberry Pi 4, 8 gig for K3S. Yeah, I agree. That's next on the docket, coming up here soon. Briz, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Tuxit, try Git. All right. Tuxit, Git is best self-hosted Git solution, light, based on Golang. Nice. No route. Power DNS is free, open source, and Dutch. All right. 3 for 1. Doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, nice. Vermium SciFel, I have talked about it a lot there. I have 2. Yeah, this was you talking about the GlusterFS stuff. For sure. You have 2 node GlusterFS with 1 terabyte per node storage, using up to 50% right now in 2 days. Wow. And I'm only using 400 meg total of RAM, 200 per node, around 5% CPU. This is freaking awesome. Yeah, for sure. I know that Serve the Home. So Serve the Home had a good blog post on their Proxmox, I think their next generation of Proxmox servers they were using for a lot of their self-hosted stuff. And in there, they talked about GlusterFS a lot. And I read the article and I was just like, kind of went over my head as far as like I understood, what they were trying to accomplish, but I didn't fully understand GlusterFS when I read it. So I'll definitely have to go back and revisit that Serve the Home blog post. I think if you just Google Serve the Home, Proxmox, GlusterFS, it's probably going to be the #1 result. Either if it's not, it's bad on Google because it has all those terms in it. And I'm sure those aren't popular terms on the internet, those 3 together. So anyways, yeah, I definitely need to get caught up on that. But really good article, a blog post them talking about why they went with GlusterFS and even how to set it up and configure it in Proxmox. I was pretty impressed. I always am impressed with the detail that they put into their blog post, for sure. No route, +1 for Git. Love it. Pair it with Drone CI and you have a killer combo. Good call. Look for your router. See how, oh yeah, I totally agree. NS, 21 commands, 20s data. Yeah, I thought there were 2, but yeah, but most, I don't know. Is GlusterFS safe for production? Define production. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I'm sure Vermium Seifel might have some comments on that because I don't know enough about it. Should know more. Pizza Geek, hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Yeah, it's always DNS. Toxic, I have my whole life on this NAS. I have backup, of course, and MDAMD Lux EXT4. All right. PC Geek, oh, that was a redemption. Vermium Seifel, absolutely. Look at the at ETC Linux Tech Tips, and other people are using ETC blank, I can't see that, are using GlusterFS, something like 2 petabytes of storage. Nice. Lincoln Shadow, security on firewall, probably FTP is not safe to use. Yeah. Penguin Airlines, that's right. You're probably talking about Git stuff, maybe. Let's see. Nest, oh, this one's hard. Nest, FTP does not like NAT unless something rewrites the command sent. You'll be asked the remote host to connect to an internal IP, not the external IP port, which is forwarded. This is all starting to bring back memories of why I started using passive FTP. Sorry, drink real quick. Vermium Seifel, oh, you mean a VM like inside the console or shells? Let's see. AppSumo, try PB copy and PB paste for copy and paste. Yeah, I remember those. Way more. Wait, PB copy. Oh, yeah. PB copy would copy something from your clipboard to your terminal or vice versa. Yeah. Toxic. I know how you can copy and paste on Proxmox VM. I have a snippet in GitHub. Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You just have to install the Spice viewers. Yeah, it's Vert Viewer, I think. Nice. SEP and SFTP is a lot better. I totally agree. 100% there with you. NAS for free, which is now Sigma NAS. All right. Unraid is dead. Easy to set up for NAS. Is it dead? I feel like a lot of people are using it still. Sigma NAS doesn't need ZFS. Nice. Yeah, these are kind of the things, like I said, that I've been looking into because I want another copy of my data, and I want it cheap. Cheap as in like I'm gonna put zero redundancy into this thing, right? Just gonna be my second copy of my data. It's my backup for my backups locally. Vermium Seifel, TrueNAS, Rockstore, Open Media Vault, NAS for free. Nice. Penguin Airlines, MDAM plus Lux is not going to save you from bit rot though. Oh, good call. But that's up to you if you care about data corruption. Yeah. Dr. CTL, finally caught up. Oh yeah, I totally did. Did I? Maybe? Toxic, thanks. PC Geek, Sigma NAS would be good for that. Techno Tim, it's lightweight. It supports iSCSI and the usual NAS server stuff. Techno Tim, sorry, but you completely dumb. Why not do GlusterFS with more than one storage array, and then use the Kubernetes with Samba so that you have data in HA? Yeah, good question. I can't tell from your question. I can kind of get what you're getting at. And it's what's going to be my storage provider for K3s, right? And how am I going to manage that? And have some plans coming soon for sure. And it won't be just one storage array; it'll be distributed. So yeah, coming soon. How about that? Penguin Airlines ZFS does not have to be RAM intensive if you don't enable some of the data protection features. All right. Good to know. Yeah, I'm still new to the ZFS game. I mean, been using it for a year, but I've just used whatever FreeNAS gives me. So yeah, good to know. Good to know for sure. Vermium Seifel, I prefer Debian-based solution. TrueNAS, FreeNAS is on BSD. I don't know this OS. Yeah. General Ryan, I have Synology running. I think it's pronounced ButterFS. While I like FreeNAS and other free options, this is one of the things that has to work. I totally agree. Nice. So yeah, Synology is one of the big users of ButterRFS, and I think Rockstore is using it too. Toxic. So in general, I mount my stack on a Debian base, MDAM or MDADM, Lux or Veracrypt, and LVM. Nice. Yeah, Google's, yeah, GKE. I can never get that one. I mean, I understand the acronym, but I'm like, what is the E for again? Like, no one uses that. They use service, but for some reason they want to say engine. Birmingham Seifel, hope you're well. I can help you on Discord. Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Briz, thanks for the gravity sync video. It's exactly what I was looking for. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I stumbled upon it and I'm like, hey, I haven't heard anyone talk about this, and it actually does exactly what I want, because I don't care about all the other things of Pi-hole. Don't get me wrong, like they're all good features, but I don't need, I don't need DHCP from Pi-hole, stats across multiple. Okay, yeah, that would be nice, but at the end of the day, I just need some redundancy for my Pi-hole server, and when I update things in one, I need it to update in the other. Just in case clients actually make a request to the secondary one, because they do a lot more often than you think. It's not like Waterfall or a backup server. It's like round robin, so you never know where they're going to land. They seem to still want to land on the first one more times than the second one, but still, some clients are just like, hey, I'm going to your secondary DNS. I don't care about my primary DNS, and it's not really secondary and primary as you would normally think of it. It's more just like something. There's a weight in there more than chance. Because if it weren't, I'd see 50-50. It seems like they kind of prefer the primary, but a lot of them just will go to the secondary on first try. So it's interesting to think about. Hey, glad you appreciate it. I really hope that Pi-hole adds something like this. I know there are a lot of people asking. I'm definitely asking. I would love to be able to run, another Pi-hole server on my Pi Zero. The thing that's always on anyways, and that'd be 100%, just well, not technically backup, but just an option for my clients here on my network, because man, it been painful until now. Penguin Airlines, Amazon Registry. Nah, they didn't have limits before. Okay, good to know. I think they'll host it for free and try to get everyone's default build services pointed at Amazon. Yeah, good to know. Toxic. I will read some documentation, but for me, it's a bit overkill for my goal. Yeah, there's things you have to weigh out. Neuralinks. If you don't need all these features from an NAS, just want a dumb file repository, Ubuntu or whatever distro with Samba NFS should just work. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's absolutely. I totally agree. I think that's going to be my plan B. My plan A is I still kind of want a GUI to manage things and make sure that things are working. I don't know. I have no problem setting that stuff up manually, setting up rsync and getting things syncing both ways, or however I end up syncing it. But at the end of the day, I want the cozy feeling from a GUI. But absolutely, 100% agree. It'd be super lightweight if I just chose my distro and set it up that way. But then I get more places to look, and a little bit harder to look at if I'm on the go from a web page, right? Unless I go and set up Webmin or something, and then arguably it's just like, okay, well then why not just start with a NAS product? But I totally agree, Neuralinks. That is definitely my plan B. It's just go that route and forget about it. Birmingham Seifel. Also, he's on the Gluster FS train. I love it. Also, you can do Gluster FS for freaking VM storage. Yeah. You can choose your Gluster FS as a backend for your Proxmox storage. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's how Serve the Home describe their architecture for sure. Let's see. Birmingham Seifel did the same on a Raspberry Pi OS. Ubuntu is my new K3S cluster. Made by Techno. Tim via his video pushed me to do it. Hey, yeah, I'm glad it's working out for you, for sure. Let me know if there are any challenges or anything you face or anything you figure out to make it a little more robust. Dex Vinyl. Been browsing eBay for a server and a disk array. Any recommendations on minimum CPU spec for a good Proxmox server? Probably 5 VMs and CTs containers plus TrueNAS core. Dex Vinyl, you have a ton of options. I think the popular pick for at least me and a lot of people are it's Dell's R720 or 710. I have a 710. It's actually off now. 720 is a popular pick. But a server and a disk array, I mean, I can only speak from my experience, and that's why I love that there are a lot of people here with different experiences. My experience so far has been a Dell R710 with a NetApp disk array, and you know, it's been fantastic. I still use my disk array. Obviously, I switched off my Dell R710, finding some more work for it to do, but until then, it's off. But anyways, 5 VMs, not tough to do. It depends on the VM type, right? If they're 5 Windows machines, you know, Windows in general, it just uses way more resources. It's always doing, it's busy. It's busy a lot. And so it's going to use some more CPU cycles. It's going to use a little bit more RAM. It's going to use a little more disk activity. But 5 is by no means like not enough for or too much for most CPUs. Obviously, if you're running, if 5 people are remoted into those machines and they're all doing something at the same time, yeah, you know, it might slow down a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, 5 machines should be totally fine. I mean, I don't know, at least what I've noticed in a lot of the things that I manage, things are mostly idle a lot of time, unless you're running services. But even those services, you know, unless they're being used, are kind of idle too. So that's probably not the best answer to that, but you know, just my own experience. I've had good luck with Dell R710 or 720, and I use a NetApp disk array, and you can find that disk arrays pretty cheap because they're deprecated, but they work fantastic if you have an HBA controller, and you can plug them directly in. So, well, you need a card with the external, and then get a special cable, and after that you can plug them in. I will say though that they use, you know, a decent amount of power, and obviously the more disks you put in there, the more power it's going to use. I have mine a quarter filled. You know, I wonder every day, should I have gone with the 12 bay, you know, disk array versus a 24? Should I have gone with just a 6 and figured it out later when I outgrow 6? You know, these are things I think about, and things you might want to think about too. You know, in my current state, you know, I have my disk array quarter filled. But at the meantime, well, I unplugged one of the power supplies because I'm like, I don't need this fan running the whole entire time for years until the other one fails. But anyways, you know, those are things, you know, you're going to have to figure it out too. You know, and I wonder like, hey, is there a decent, you know, 12 bay disk array that I could get? But you know, I got it so cheap that it was just like, I'll figure it out later. Same with my Dell R710. I got it cheap and I was like, this is good for now. I'll figure it out later. And obviously you see that I have one use service now. So I might be revisiting my disk array choice at some point. But if you have more than 12 disks, or you're even thinking about like you'll grow to 24 sometime soon, yeah, it's an excellent choice. But if you're gonna get higher density disks and you might never go higher than 12 disks, it might not be the great choice. But for the cost, it is. It's fantastic. Anyways, hopefully that helps. That's just my experience. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of different experiences in here too, for sure. Toxic. Did you use self-hosted solution like paperless at home, trying to organize and store administrative paper scan? No, I like this. I like this paperless. I have to look into it. No, my paperless solution right now is I use on my phone. You know, Microsoft has an app called Office Lens, and it's actually fantastic. And it scans documents. It'll scan pictures. It'll scan whiteboards. It'll scan lots of things. It'll do the keystoning and everything and fix everything for you. And so that's my scanning solution right now. It's, you know, I don't have a document feeder or anything. I have my phone and I point at a document and I say scan and it saves it. And then I can save it as a PDF and then I save it in my documents. So I don't have a backlog of files I need to scan until tax time. So, you know, it's just kind of ad hoc for me. You know, and I don't have a hardware scanner, at least me personally. My wife does for her artwork, but that's totally different. We don't scan documents with that, but definitely could. But I'll have to. Is paperless a product? Because I know it's a concept too. But I'll have to look. Sounds interesting for sure. But like I said, I use Office Lens, take a picture, and it scans it, and then I save it as a PDF, tuck it in my documents. That's my solution right now. Penguin Airlines, I have Onc script for copying stuff through any protocol, shell or console. I'd like to see it, man. Very useful when diving through half a dozen jump servers or copying a gigantic command to reestablish certificates. Yeah, I'd love to see it, man. For sure. For sure. The EMP, TN. Tim, have you messed around with self-hosted email? This one comes up every couple days. I have not. And I think about it sometimes, but I don't have a huge need for like email on my domain. And if I, and obviously if I had a huge need for mail on my domain, I might go with whatever, choose your product to handle your mail. But I hear about it a lot, and people ask about it a lot. So I feel like this was really, it was a hot topic years ago, and now I feel like it's coming back. And maybe it's just because it's more in my face. But I hear a lot of people say good things about MailCow. And I, again, don't take this as my recommendation. It's just something I've heard of that people say good things about. So if I wanted to self-host my own mail, I would have to think about a lot of things like spam and spam filters. Hopefully some of these mail services or self-hosted ones come with spam filters and stuff like that too. But I don't know if spam, I don't know. And then those proxies or spam filters or whatever your mail server proxy is in front of you, I think I don't know. I have a dynamic IP too. I don't know how that would play with mail proxies and stuff like that, but I haven't looked into it. Yeah, I'd love to know what people think because I don't have a lot of experience doing it. I did it a long time ago, a squirrel mail or something like that. I don't know, our PHP mail, which wasn't even really, it was kind of a mail server, but it was more of a script to just send out, a contact form mail. But other than that, I haven't done it. I mean, I set up Exchange once, and that was not fun. I don't even remember if I ever got it working, but it was more to learn, for sure. Let's see, Vermium Sci-File, store my precious file at home on an encrypted disk around 5.2 TO, terabytes. Genzo, let's see, isn't the easiest and cheapest backup solution to simply buy a USB hard drive or build with parts and basically do the backup? This can also easily be transported offline to another location. Yeah, Genzo, I agree. I totally agree. The problem is that I have 20 terabytes to back up to keep a copy of. So, I have 20 terabytes of stuff. Arguably, it's not all being used. But anyways, I have a 20 terabyte volume that I need to back up automatically and just keep another copy here just in case, my primary server goes down and I don't want to restore from the cloud. Just to have. And so 20 terabytes, I'd have to I mean, maybe they have 20 terabyte USB disks, but I don't want to see the price tag on that. So what I do have is a lot of 3 and 4 terabyte disks just laying around because, I upgraded drives. And so I have a lot of disks and I would love to build a JBOD just to do it and just to have another copy Now, I mean, my plan is, when I figure it out, I'm going to have it shut down. I'm going to have it power on automatically. I'm going to have it run its backup job, and I'm going to have it shut down. And that's it. And so, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video about it. And I've been thinking about this for weeks, but I need to find the right solution. And so my 3-2-1 backup strategy, the 2-part, is going to be a machine that's never on until it needs to back up something. So we've got to figure out how to automate all that. But anyways, and then pick a solution too. But I totally agree. If I had a USB hard drive, I'd just plug it in and back stuff up and just be like, check, done. Here's where my files are if my main server goes down. But I don't have that option right now. Vermium Sci-File, I think I found the problem with my Gluster right now. I have it on the same network as me, and that makes it slow when it's replicating files over. It's taking up all the bandwidth. Yeah. But it's a small problem. Yeah, for sure. Most likely use BSD for VMs. I think you're talking about TrueNAS, maybe. But I don't see it as a problem it can be for other people. Toxic, I posted a solution in Discord about copy paste in the Proxmox VM. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, I'd like to see that script. Manchucho. it's already late in Europe, so I'll just drop by and say thank you for your videos. Hey, no problem at all. I like, which I like very much. Thanks for that and keeping up the good work. Thank you. Have a good stream. See you soon. Hey, thanks. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for staying up late and making it to my stream. Appreciate it. Penguin Airlines, that's not a Gluster issue, rather a replication one. The same issue would present itself for other FS replication scenarios. Yeah, good call. Birmingham Seifel, I saw a video from Craft Computing with a 20 bay for $100, but it's inside and not the front. Yeah, I saw that too. And I'm considering it. Yeah, absolutely considering it. I have stuff already that I kind of want to reuse. But yeah, I saw it. And the only problem too, and nothing against the product, it's just really long. And so you saw in that video how I don't know if he ended up moving his air duct for his AC or what he did to work around that, but it's longer than I'd like it to be. And so I'm trying to shorten my rack, at least the depth for sure. And that one is like, I mean, if you think, it's as long as it could possibly be, but it looks awesome for sure. And then I was totally let down that the NIC doesn't work on BSD, which is what he was running TrueNAS on. So he had to put one in there, but I mean, totally not the hardware's fault at all. But yeah, for sure, totally good option for sure. Toxic Paperless makes OCR to plain text search. Oh, okay. So you get OCR too. I like it. So you're actually creating a document where I'm just using a PDF as an image. Oh, I like it. I like this. Love Craft Computing. Love his beard choices too. Heck yeah. I do too. Absolutely. I love his channel, and Jeff's such a great guy. 100% agree. Birmingham Seifel, it was 12 bay. He also got the screws and the drive tee too. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Mail in a box. All right, haven't heard of that one. Fake 230. What to use for animations in React Native? Hey, good question. I just use the animation. Well, two things. Let me get a drink and like put in a mint really quick because my throat is getting pretty dry. 1 second. Because I have an answer for sure. May not like it. So what do you use animations? What do you use for animations on React Native? So if you're talking about just generic animations, like React Native comes with an animation library, I think a component or some class methods you can call to start and stop animations, fade in, fade out, and do all that. If you're looking for more of like animations of like artwork or images, or if you see those moments of joy as an app where you open something up and you have this animation. I don't know how else to describe it, but a traditional, animation. I used Lottie in the past, and so Lottie's actually pretty good. I can't remember if it's made by Adobe or something, but Lottie, the nice part about Lottie is that designers can make animations, I think using After Effects or an Adobe product or non-Adobe products. They can create Lottie animations, and then from there, they can be used on the web or mobile. And so I've used Lottie in the past on React Native as a mobile library. How do I put this? I've used Lottie. There's an implementation of Lottie for React Native that allows you to run animations. The nice part is if the designer who created it or the Lottie file you have is just JSON, if you have that and you have multiple platforms, it will work everywhere too. So places I worked use Lottie, and they use that same animation for Android, and they use that same animation for iOS. And you have the option to use that on the web as well. It's pretty good. So I think, and so there's a library that'll let you run Lottie and on React Native. So I would look at that. It's pretty popular. And then I think Lottie Files has a big library that you can go and download all these sweet like animations of like buttons exploding and, you know, all the cool things you see in apps. They have a library there that you can pull them down and use. So anyways, that's the only one I've had experience with. I've done just React Native animations though too. But if I need something more, you know, robust than fade in, fade out move, then I go for Lottie for sure. Birmingham Seifeld, buy your own custom TLD, and get started at TLD registry and be a special person. I don't, yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. Maybe, I don't know. No route. I said this a couple weeks ago, but it still applies. MailCal. Yeah. I think you're the one that always suggests MailCal. It's been around, running it for a year old. It's been great. All right. Road Brew, daily driver SO, Windows, Mac, or Linux. Yes. I think you meant OS, but my daily driver operating system, daytime Mac OS. Let me put it this way. Daytime is Mac OS because I do a lot of software development. Nighttime is Windows because I do a lot of other things that aren't soft development. But at the same time, I can also do software development there too because I use WSL. And then everything else is Linux. So all of my servers, but two, if you consider them servers, are all Linux everywhere else. So my whole entire home lab minus I think 2 virtual machines are all running Linux. So yes, all of them. And that's being honest too. And like I said, my MacBook's right here. My Windows PC's right here. During the day, this one's on and that one's off. And at night, this one's on and that one's off. And the only reason why I am doing Windows at night, I mean, obviously I could use my Mac at night. It's just my Windows PC is way more powerful. And then at the same time, I might have to do, I don't know, might have to do something in Premiere. I might have to, you name it, record a screen or record something for one of my videos or tweak something in OBS. And so, yeah, Mac, Windows, and then Linux is always running in this house because I have all my servers. So everything, to be honest. CRX Tasty. That one's hard to say too. Sorry, I know you've been here plenty, but it's hard to pronounce your name. But anyways, looks like Paperless is a Python project on Git. Yeah, for sure. I gotta check it out because I'm interested in the OCR piece to where it will convert, you know, an image to words because that's interesting to me. I think on my PDFs, it's, you know, it does an okay job. I think a PDF can try to figure out stuff if it converts properly. But yeah, that's interesting for sure. Birmingham Seifeld Proxbox Mail Gateway is everything in a bundle. Nice. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. I see it on their page all the time. That's good to know too. PC Geek, your public DNS provider uses an MX record for mail server. Yeah. Are they okay with mail proxies when you hop through them if that IP changes? I mean, maybe they're just looking at DNS, like you said, for the MX record. It's been so long since I've even had to do anything like that. Oh, MS Exchange was a B. I totally agree. Because like to run Exchange, you got to run everything else Microsoft has ever owned ever, which is, you know, AD, DNS, DHCP. Yeah, it's like if you ever think about running Exchange, you might as well just spin up 15 Microsoft servers and get everything running. Because obviously you need them first. It's going to do all those checks, but Exchange is super popular and good at what it does, but it's a beast. That's what the B meant, right? Beast. Let's see. Birmingham Sci-Fi, look at how to forge for some great guides. Yeah, good call. The EMPTN, I need to get better at this one. The EMP-TN is TN Tennessee. I'll go with that. Appreciate you. Hey, appreciate you right back. Gens OS, then buy 2. All right, I like the solutioning going on here. All right, engineering at its best. Then buy 2 16x terabytes and an icy box. Yeah, I like it. I like these solutions you're throwing at me. It gives me stuff to think about for sure, because that would mean a lot less infrastructure. I'll for sure. I don't know icy box, but I should look at this. It has an awesome name, so I'll have to look at it. I assume it's like a NAS solution or an array for disks. Interesting. APM. I was just thinking. I was thinking of some stuff for that precision lab machine, potentially 8 people using, thinking about something like Proxmox with some kind of AD, LDAP, and a few other things on it. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. If you have the infrastructure, yeah, go for it. And I don't mean to dog on Microsoft because, like, you know, I think they're awesome and they're doing awesome things. It's just, it's easy. It's easy sometimes. And so the AD one, yeah, AD and DNS and Exchange, whew. And if you throw SharePoint in there, whew, yeah, good luck spinning that up at home. I'm teasing, but yeah, good luck for real. I would love to know if you could get something like that working for sure. I'm sure you can because you're smart, but man, that's a lot of infra for that. PC Geek. So like you're gonna be like the furnace at Home Alone. Haha, yeah. My backup, yeah, the furnace when he goes down there and it comes alive and it lights up and it turns on fire. Yeah, it's funny because I just caught Home Alone. What was that? Tuesday, I caught it. Totally, 100%. It's gonna turn on, fire, teeth, and probably roaring and saying nonsense, and then back stuff up and then shut back down like nothing ever happened. I like it. I like the analogy. Jens, I do like your solution. Would like to know more about it. Starting now, shutting down automatically when it called upon presume. I wake on LAN. Yeah. I'm spoiling it. I mean, I'll throw it out there. Like I've been trying to figure out this solution for a while, and I want to make sure it's right. I want to make sure it works, and I'll probably do a video on it. 100%. I kind of gave it away when I started talking about the actual solution of starting up, backing up, shutting down, and then being off until the next time it needs to do it. And I'll probably do it on a schedule. It won't be anything like event-based because, you know, I'd wake up all the time like, hey, I wrote a file to TrueNAS then tells it to wake up. Like, I'm not going to do anything event-based like that. Well, the only event is going to be a time. And so, yeah, I'm totally spoiling it. I mean, look for it. I need to figure out the solution though first. And it's going to be something that people can do with their old PC or their old hardware, their old server. Breathe some new life into that thing and keep a second, you know, copy of data somewhere else. But yeah, wake on LAN, it might be. It might be wake on LAN. The only thing that I don't want to depend on anything else. So it might be as simple as a timer within the BIOS to tell it to turn on. You know, so things I haven't figured out yet. Lots of ideas. I like the wake on LAN idea. I've done wake on LAN before. My little Pi Zero is doing wake on LAN. I could just say, hey, throw this MAC address in that pool of MAC addresses you're trying to wake up, and that might work fine too. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, it would be wake on LAN for sure. It could be. But BIOS screens or some BIOS also have schedules, like a power on schedule. So I was thinking maybe that too, because then I don't have to depend on network at all. For sure. Wake on LAN with the smart plug. All right, yeah, I like where this is going. Yeah, I like figuring this out together. I mean, it could be anything for sure. I know that the machine that I want to use has a schedule to turn on in the BIOS, and to me that says that's going to be pretty bulletproof. You know, less moving parts for sure. But no, I like the wake on LAN idea because, like I said, my Pi Zero is making sure that a lot of my servers are up already. And if they're not, it's going to send a wake on LAN packet. And funny enough, that MAC address for the server I want to use is already commented out because that was my old virtualization server anyway. So yeah, all I have to do is just like uncomment some code in my script and just change it a little bit. But yeah, I like it for sure. I like where you guys are going. Vermium Sci-Fil, yeah, he moved his AC. Thumbs up. Scurvy Dan. Tim, would an Intel NUC i5 32 gig RAM? Yeah, absolutely. So would an Intel NUC i5 32 gigs of RAM work for a beginner home lab? Absolutely. I for sure. You have a decent amount of cores. You have a decent amount of RAM. That NUC is probably going to have SSD storage in there. Most likely, even if it doesn't, not the end of the world. But a beginner one, yeah, I think it's fantastic. And great on power usage. It's just going to sip power. So if you leave it on, you won't notice it in your power bill, you know, unlike other things. So yeah, for sure. I think that's a great call, Scurvy Dan. I think that's a fantastic starter kit. Lincoln Shadow, that backup system would be great energy saving safety. I'm giving it all away. I'm foreshadowing. I'm not giving it away. I'm just doing foreshadowing. But yeah, for sure. Fermium Seifel, how to be able to use Kubernetes dashboard without needing an SSH tunnel, typing K3S. Yeah, good call. You don't want to. You don't want to. You don't want to expose that all the time because it's protected with a token, and that token has more rights than it should be. I mean, this isn't. So you don't want to. You don't want to run that dashboard somewhere else because I think the only way that it's protected is that token. The token that you get from K3S or from your Kubernetes servers is a token for like your admin account within Kubernetes, the creator account. And so you don't, and arguably you could probably expose it, but I wouldn't. I don't know. Because getting the token is going to require you to SSH in to one of the servers and get the token again. You know what I mean? So yeah, that one's tough. I mean, you could probably spin up a pod and have it hosted, and then you would just have to keep going in and getting the token. But if you're already going to SSH in to get the token, I mean, if you just run forward the proxy back to yourself, basically port forward back to yourself to the proxy, I mean, you're already in the terminal and running SSH, so it's up to you. I'm sure there's ways. Me personally, I'm not going to do it just because I don't want that out there just running all the time. And I know that people would, if something were to happen, they'd still need a token from Kubernetes. But I'm rancher for that, for sure. Mikey Man, what language do you develop in? Oh man. Mostly, I'd say now, mostly JavaScript and TypeScript. I've done other things. I've done .NET. I've done C#, VB.NET, JavaScript, TypeScript. I've done some Java, Kotlin. I don't know. And then, name your hello world app in some language, Go, C++, whatever. Done, 50 to 100 lines of each of those to know enough about what they're about. And then a little bit of Python just recently. So a whole bunch of stuff, but I'd say it's 99% JavaScript or 80-20 JavaScript, TypeScript, I'd say. But yeah, for sure. Which I love because it can run anywhere. So it's pretty awesome. Paperless, some years ago, I worked with a clipping software that had news articles, OCR, on it. And when you search for something, it'd highlight inside the document. Pretty great. Normally the software is used by journalists. Yeah, I like it. I like it for sure. For sure. If you're storing documents like that, because then it's all indexed and then you can search it. So yeah, like for tax stuff or any kind of document, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool to think about that. Now it's indexed and you can search full text. That's awesome. Hey, Melon Dice, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Let's see here. PC Geek, they have a container template now too for Proxmox and the mail gateway. LXC that is. Yeah, it's sounding more and more interesting. Once you said the index and search piece, that's when I was like, okay, I get it now. Because that is definitely cool. Because then you could just search it. Yeah, for sure. It would be cool if it just don't convert it to a Word document. What am I talking about? You need it in an index so you can search it from a system. So I like that. That does sound awesome. Penguin Airlines, I'm interested in the paper OCR2. Just put the GitHub link in my home lab backlog. Yeah, for sure. Icybox is just a SATA enclosure. Thank you. OEM, thank you for that. All right. Can you put 2 in there? I'll have to look later. Mix of CRX and Ecstasy. Yeah, I remember because you got a CRX. And then as soon as you said that, someone else said, I have a CRX too. All right, CRX-tasy. There we go. I picked it up because I love driving the CRX I had in the past. All right, I remember when you mentioned that the very first time, someone else said, hey, I have a CRX too. Anyways, and I just said that. So anyways, Penguin Airlines, they are well built, but somewhat pricey. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look. I do like the idea of having an external enclosure because it means less on. At the same time, I got a pile of hardware I want to use. I just need an excuse to get that thing running and back in the rack. CRX-tasy, I had a new, there we go, Penguin Airlines. Exactly what I was talking about. I had a new one with the SVT. I'm assuming you're referring to the old one. This is like deja vu. Proxmox Mail Gateway is a full mail solution for self-hosting. Just need a domain name. Question mark. That was a question. You are correct. I had the 1989 HF with this B16A. Nice. Wake on LAN with smart plug. Yeah, I said that earlier. I caught that out of the side of my eye for sure. Yeah, it's, man, so many solutions here. So many solutions. PC Geek, and then you can just press the wire on Arduino to press the power button by grounding the power button pins on the mobile. I like this. I like where this is going. Smart plug will make sure it can't power on when you don't want it to. Yeah, that's a good call too. And then, yeah, on top of that, yeah, smart plug would work as long as in the BIOS I said the power off state or the power on state is always on instead of last known. Because if it was last known and I shut it down, and then I gave it power again, it would just say, oh, the last known was off. So I'd have to do some changing in there, but I like it. I have plenty of smart plugs. I have one sitting right there that's not even plugged in. I like where this is going too. I like it for sure. Hey guys, I do apologize. I would love to get through the rest of the comments. This is one of the few times I haven't been able to. I don't have that many. All right, I'm gonna go through it real quick because I don't want to say that I didn't read all the comments last time. So I will do it really quick. Smart plug will make sure. Yeah, I got that. Dex Vinyl, Debian Ubuntu VNC without SSH tunnel, only for the use of internal network, of course. Vermium Cyfel, I know you can do basic authentication in Kubernetes dashboard. That's right, you can. Yeah, absolutely you can. Like I said, I used the Kubernetes dashboard for a little bit, but then GKE provided a better one to where we didn't need it anymore. And at home, I have Rancher for that, for sure. Melodice, sup Tim, really digging your YouTube content. Thank you. Vermium Seifeld, you using Kubernetes dashboard or Rancher? You know what I'm using, Rancher. The PC Geek, is it just me or did you miss some followers? I don't think so. Wait, maybe I did. Maybe, hey, thank you. Maybe I did. I was just yapping. Random Cake. No, I thought I read Random Cake. If not, I'll read them again. Oh, I did. Yeah, there's one I don't recognize. Anyways, no, Janky, I read that one. Briz, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Jimbra, that's the one I think I missed. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And Mill and Dice, I think I called that one out. But thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, PC Geek. Yeah, I was probably just yakking away. Jens, currently running Proxmox on G4400 2-core, 2-thread with 64 gigs of memory. It works too, but upgrading all the VMs at the same time is just not recommended. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Starting them all at the same time, just a startup storm in general is a thing, you know, in virtualization. Yeah, you got to stagger them out and do things at different times. Lincoln Shadow, email server. Nowadays, companies are more using Exchange in the cloud. It's hard to maintain than a physical server. For what it's worth, and a license comes with other perks and for home use. From what I can tell in the past years, people create server and domain everything, and then they don't have time to maintain the server, end up dropping domain contacts and all. Yeah, I totally agree. SaaS solutions that's why SaaS solutions are super popular. Yes, the Icy Box has options for more than one drive, also 2 at least. All right. Vermium Seifel, yes, I guess so from the screenshots on their page. State on recovery from power loss. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. State on for sure, because otherwise it would just be in a weird state. I do the same thing on my servers now because if the UPS runs out, I still want them to turn on too. So that's already ticked. Lucas, good night. Yeah, thank you. Good night to you as well. Yeah, man, you guys are on it. Discord. All right. Rancher on K3S, how to install, to be continued, coming soon to channel near you. It's coming. Because I wouldn't show how to install a standalone Kubernetes instance without that going on there too. Anyways, man, thank you guys so much for being here. Large crowd today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the subs and follows and absolutely just for being here and chatting it up. So many conversations going on. I learned so many great things today. I have so many things to actually look into research, and I have so many more ideas for my 321 backup server. It's the 2 in the 321. I think it's the 2. That now I have some more ideas, and yeah. So look for that because I've been planning in my head, and my old server's already torn apart. I just haven't found the right solution for it. So for sure, look for it in the future. I will be back on Tuesday, absolutely Tuesday. But in the meantime, if you want to chat and connect with the people that are in this channel and people who aren't able to make it to this channel or that never come to this channel, we have a Discord server full of a lot of people who are interested in tech, interested in home labs, interested in a lot of different stuff. So I encourage you to join if you haven't already. I know they just posted the Discord server, but I will do it again just in case you're just now seeing this. It's right there. So I really appreciate you coming out tonight. Thanks for bearing with me this week as I had to make some schedule changes. And man, oh man, what a great turnout. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. I will see you on Tuesday. And as always, raid. Yeah, thank you so much. We are going to raid someone. Stick around. But let's raid someone. So the way that I do this, here, I'll switch to mute site. And then I'll go full screen of not myself. Let's go here. Game. There we go. Are you seeing me? All right. So let's go. Get off me. Oh, that's so weird because it was lag too. So the way this usually works, hey, stick around for the raid real quick. So the way that this usually works, do I have, I need to pull this out of here because see, my windows don't even remember their old location because oh my gosh. I got raided. Hey, thanks for the raid. Appreciate it. Who was that? Raid of 3. Thank you so much. ND Lifestyle. Thanks for the raid. Appreciate it. Hey, thanks for the follow too. Really appreciate that. We're just getting ready to raid someone else. So we're going to pass this on to someone else. I'm going to copy and paste some emojis in the chat. You're absolutely free to use those. You're free to use, well, no. If you have the other ones, you can use them if you like. I'll post some of those. Run as admin. Run as admin. I should have posted them all in one, and I should do this in Google Keep again. There's some other ones. Feel free to use those. Feel free to not use those, but let's raid someone. So the way I usually do it, it's nothing super scientific, but I just kind of go in the science and technology channel. I look for someone I haven't rated before, and I kind of let their algorithm pick one for me. The one thing I don't usually do is company pages, because obviously, or sponsored streams, because obviously they're getting some help. But I'm open to suggestions. I see quite a few people we've rated already, which is a good thing. So you are awesome. I like it. But let's see here. Weekend web dev with whiskey. Oh man, stream parrot dev. I kind of like where this is going. Stream parrot dev, weekend web dev with whiskey. That's got a lot going on. It's got a lot going on there. Let's see. Let me just make sure that this guy's live. Intended for mature audiences. You guys are mature, right? Oh gosh, come on, Twitch. Come on. Web dev is always good. I tend to agree. Because I learned something. And even though I do web development myself, there's so many ways to do it. Either with different languages, different tools, different platforms. Yeah, this is looking pretty clean to me. He's looking at feature flags. Oh yeah, all right. So you guys, we are absolutely gonna raid. Who is this? CM Griffin. Be sure to give a warm welcome. Be good. Yeah, thank you so much. We're gonna raid them in 10 seconds. Stick around and show them some love. And then wait past the commercial. It's probably gonna show you a commercial. But anyways, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. We're gonna raid him. It's gonna start in 10 seconds. But yeah, as always, be good to each other. I'll see you Tuesday. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey,